And we're live. Look at that. Look how easy it is. You click a button, and all of a sudden everyone is on YouTube. I mean, on Spotify or whatever else we're gonna be. Welcome to Not So Special number 28. I am joined.
Counting.
It's my mad dash as we're setting up. I'm like, oh shoot, what number are we on? Got to look through. We've done so many. 28. That's why we're stuck. We're joined today with two guests, our lovely friends from the STC podcast, Bill and Joe. Bill is at STC and Joe is at AC Decepticon. And of course, me and Derek, but we don't need any introduction. No one cares about us. So, but we got
special.
we're all not so special today. So
actually, you're supposed to say you're very special guests.
You're very okay.
Oh, that wasn't in his agreement. We had to say that.
Yes.
Oh, was it? I didn't sign that.
Maybe our intern signed it.
Yeah, our intern. Our intern. That's an inside joke. Derek, inside jokes don't work on podcasts. People don't know.
That's when you explain. My 6-year-old daughter has now become our intern.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, you need to tell your intern what their duties are, because we didn't get any heads up about today earlier. We're just kind of floating around, waiting to find out if we're on, and then obviously your intern didn't tell you you're on today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all here waiting for Derek for a change. I got to send Derek. We're waiting gifts.
I haven't saw any of them yet. All I saw was Joe's message saying Bill's starting to throw things with waiting on me. And that's when I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get going.
What were you doing, Derek? You said you were watching a movie with your wife?
We were watching Ted Lasso, the new season, first episode of that.
Season 3?
Is it season 3 or
season 3? Yeah.
Is it 3? Okay, I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'm only on the second episode. It's really good.
Yeah, we're starting the first one. I think we're about halfway through that episode.
I gave up on Ted Lasso.
Why?
I gave up second season. I gave up.
Oh.
When everyone starts holding hands and starts singing, it just loses me. I'm not into this like hunky dory. Everything's great. It's almost too positive of a show.
Sometimes, yeah. That season gets a little less positive, but
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like you need to stick it out, but we've had that first episode to watch for a few weeks now and haven't jumped into it, so I can't blame you too much.
Yeah. Maybe one day. So, I'm waiting. Joe, I'm here. I just did it again. Bill's got a smirk on his face, and I'm waiting for him to jump in here.
The names wrong.
They called me out on it already.
I haven't known these guys for like 7 years now.
I told them to call me out every time I do it. I have no idea why they're switched in my head. I don't know.
We're all talked out, man. We already burnt through all of our gold waiting for Derek to come on. So
that's true.
Should have been recording.
I thought about it, but I was like, nah, Derek's going to get upset if I hit record and he's not here.
You guys were talking when I came on. I'm like, oh, man, I already missed the beginning. I mean,
yeah.
What's the point of me even being here?
Yeah. Well, we had to, hold back the strip show for our OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us on. Thanks for the invite. Super happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Joke's on you.
You'll regret this. So the reason we asked you guys on is because we
really like you.
We really like you, yes.
That's it.
We collectively went to the Toronto Game Expo, which we teased heavily in the past few episodes that we were going to, that I would be selling at, and I asked all three of you to come and help me sell because I had 5 tables that I could not possibly man by myself. And everyone graciously said yes. So thank you very much. I would like to thank you all publicly. I could not have done it without any or all of you. So thank you for taking the time to come and help me sell. It means a lot to me. And it was a great success. So.
No problem. Anytime.
When does our cut come in the mail? Like I thought maybe this week.
Yeah, it's in the mail actually. So if you don't get it, I would contact your local post office and
tell them you're expecting money.
Yeah.
From Creepy Josh.
Yeah.
I haven't got my money.
And
from Creepy Josh.
I'll check with I'll check with my the I sent it by PayPal. Is that how a PayPal money order? Yeah, you'll have to in the mail. You'll have to.
Ooh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of fun. Even though we were working, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun to just to hang out. Like,
yeah,
that was a reason alone to do it, let alone helping you out. And yeah,
and it wasn't our stuff, so the real pressure wasn't on us.
Yeah.
But
I do wish I had brought some of my stuff to sell, or at least got my own table, but because that was a lot of people.
It was a lot. Was a lot of people.
I'm really curious. We should have almost asked Hodge for a final number there, but there was a lot of people going through. It was usually at Barrie, you have several times where there's a lull and there's less people there, and you got some time to rearrange your table or count your cash or whatever else, figure out what you forgot to write down. And this time there was just no letting up.
No, it was go
busy.
Well, who said there was someone had said there was a limit to the amount of people they could let through at one time, right?
Yeah, so that was Hodge and Fraser. I think Fraser actually was the one who said.
Yeah.
Because they didn't rent out the whole. It was at the Queen Elizabeth. Sorry, people are listening. We're talking as if we were there. We were at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre at the Exhibition Center. Is that correct in Toronto?
Yeah, that's a way to describe where it is. I don't know exactly what the whole area is called though.
Okay. Anyways, it was like it's like a big event center basically. It's like a big warehouse. And so the space that they had rented or allotted for the event, they had curtained off. So it wasn't the whole theater. It was just a section of it.
I would almost say it was only a third of it. Maybe.
It was really only a third of it, yeah, which limits their head count because of fire codes. They can't allow that as many people in. Which was good in a way because it didn't feel like everyone is packed shoulder to shoulder for the whole thing. But again, it did mean people were waiting outside at the door. So as people would leave, then more people could come in. And it took, I think Fraser said it took almost an hour to get everybody into the door.
I think so. Something like that.
So
the VIPs all got in no problem, but it was the general population or the general admission tickets that had to wait up because there was so many people at the door at the time of opening.
Yeah. And as far as I know, they've booked double the amount of space for the next event in October.
Yeah, that's
so that will hopefully will be less of an issue. Which just means more people.
There'll be more vendors, or more vendors are going to.
It sounded like it wasn't going to be more tables, just more space.
Oh,
everything.
Part of that was going to be like sitting areas and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I did see some vendors from Barrie that I'm accustomed to seeing. So I wonder if they might take advantage of it after they hear, maybe how successful it was for certain people.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would hope so. I'm surprised that they didn't have more vendors considering it was in Toronto. I would have assumed they would have filled twice the space with vendors.
And maybe that's just because it was the first time of the event.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is it's just the first time. Everyone's just kind of letting it go for the first one, see how successful it is, which obviously it was a roaring success. So
yeah,
there's no reason not to join in for the next one.
Yeah. And we only recognized maybe one or two quote unquote big game stores actually show up.
Yeah, I saw the Retro Game Bros there, and there's at least one other one that I recognize the guys
still
from.
Quite a few that were missing, so
yeah,
they might show up at the next one.
Tons of other vendors of all different types, though. It wasn't just games this time.
Yeah, the table right beside us was it 8-bit beans or something like that. They were selling video game themed coffee.
It's actually a coffee / beer / sit down arcade that's in downtown Whitby.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't recognize their name because I've never been, but I overheard them telling people where they were, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's these guys.
Huh. Yeah, you were in a right spot because you were right beside them, so you got to hear the spiel, I'm sure.
Yeah. So Josh, why don't you do a rundown from at the very start from us showing up and for everyone who was obviously not there.
Well, we were there way before Josh and Derek showed up.
What?
We had to wait.
You just waiting outside for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, we scouted out and got
in the rain
tables and stuff ready, and
I get to lay the land. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to get a coffee, and then we came back. You finally showed up, so
it's alternate reality here.
Makes sense. Well, let's start with first thing in the morning. Or actually, no, let's start the night before.
Oh, God.
Let's start the night before, because there's a bit of a build-up here. So I had been prepping for the Toronto Game Expo for the past 2 months at least, possibly 3. So I have I want to say at least 20 or 30 hours into prepping everything, pricing everything, spreadsheeting, going through my collection, building display cases, fixing my broken display cases, right? Like everything all combined. So, and I did this mostly because I know that the week leading up to the expo, I'm usually like cramming and swamped, and I'm just fighting for time to be able to finish last minute projects or last minute whatever has to get done before the show. So I figured if I started early, I'd have more time, which I did. So thankfully the night before, I didn't have to worry as much. I knew everything was done. I could, go and I had to borrow my father-in-law's truck because I knew not everything was going to fit in my car. So he had a pickup truck. Great. Be great.
He was coming to help out too.
And he was coming to help as well. So we, I did everything. I loaded the cab of the truck, but not the bed of the truck because you can't lock the bed. So I didn't want to leave anything in there overnight. And I had everything upstairs in my living room ready to go. And I set my alarm for 6 o'clock the next day, which I confirmed. 6 o'clock. Said 6 o'clock at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Perfect. So I went to bed feeling no stress. I'm like, I'm good. I've done everything I can. I'm ready to go. I wake up on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. My alarm has not gone off. And I woke up to texts and messages from Derek, who is at my front door saying, "Hey, are you up? Are we going? I don't want to ring the doorbell." But almost threatening. I will ring this damn doorbell.
6:41 in the morning. I said, "Leaving home now." And 6:56. You up yet? Ha ha ha. Jokingly. 7 o'clock exactly. You say, "Coming." My alarm didn't go off.
So it was a quick jump out of bed, get dressed instantly, go down, let Derek in the house. And it was just a mad dash to get everything loaded into the truck and ready to go. About halfway into
where the next problem happened.
The next problem arises. About halfway loading into the truck, we realize the truck is
I realized right as soon as I walked into your living room that was not going to fit.
True.
I also actually told you a month ago that we could use my Highlander if we need more room. And you said, "We got a pickup truck. It'll be fine."
I didn't know how much stuff I had at that time either. So I couldn't, we wouldn't have known either way. Anyways, I realized about halfway through, this is not all going to fit in this truck. I have too much stuff. Never mind, we got to fit 3 people into the truck and all my stuff. It's just not going to happen. So thankfully, Derek graciously offered to drive his car, and we could fill up his back seat of the car, and I think some of the front seat as well.
Yeah.
And it was a mad dash to Toronto. So I wanted to leave at 6:37. We'd have time. I could stop for McDonald's or something on the way, get a tea, and just kind of leisurely roll into Toronto and get going. But then none of that happened. It was Derek filled up his car and then he left, and I had to go pick up my father-in-law, and then we just mad dashed to Toronto in the rain.
There's a lot of rain.
A lot of rain. But thankfully, no traffic. It was smooth sailing all the way there.
It wasn't bad.
So we get to the expo, and the rain has not stopped. I assumed, and I shouldn't have, but I assumed we would have been in an underground parking area to unload. But it was just an outside bay door. So everyone is just
parking.
Everybody's piling up their cars near the door and blocking the door, and they're unloading everything one load at a time, but leave the truck parked at the door. So everybody else has to wait for them to move their truck, and they don't move it forever. And
yeah. So there are ideas. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe Hodge will hear this. I should reach out to him. But I think he should be sending out like a feedback survey to the vendors and just ask for feedback about what could be better and what couldn't be better.
You had the idea that we just pull up our truck behind the other truck, unload it, and bring it right to the side of the door, and get our truck out of there and get our next vehicle in.
Yeah.
Unload the same way, and then hand bomb everything from there, or carts, whatever, to the actual table.
Then you guys go park your vehicles, and then we'll start carting everything to the tables. That way
that helped us get done faster.
Yeah, because literally guys were taking one load at a time from the car all the way to the table, coming back, unloading one load all the way to the table. And that was like 8:30, maybe almost 9 o'clock in the morning. And 9 o'clock was where more people were going to come, like vendors were going to come. Yeah. If the vendors with like single tables were going to show up. So we wanted to get our stuff done as soon as we can to get out of that way and not have to worry about running into all those other vendors that are going to show up. Yeah. Yeah.
We've been to enough of these shows to know many vendors have no consideration for others. That's just the way it is.
So Josh decided to take a little bit of that and get ours done quick and out of the way by just doubling up, parking behind somebody who didn't look like they were going to move anytime soon. And they never did. Or they didn't move at that time, that Cadillac Escalade. I didn't see it move for a while there. So.
That Escalade didn't move, and the U-Haul didn't move. The U-Haul was sitting there forever, too.
But later on, I did see the U-Haul was gone, but he took forever. And I think it was just him, one guy with a cart, doing all of his stuff one at a time with the U-Haul right there.
Yeah. So, and yet when one guy just pull up and stopped right before the Escalade or whatever was there, and just stopped and just waited for the next car to move, but no one was moving. So I had to go out and pull my father-in-law. I went around and I was like,
that
come
was
around.
The Mercedes, right? The Mercedes SUV, I think.
He was pulling a U-Haul trailer. I don't know what he was doing, but
okay, maybe a different one that I was thinking of.
That
guy, there's two different guys I think that sat there for a while, just waiting for an opportunity to get in, and there wasn't one.
Yeah, so I was just like, just pull in here, and we're gonna get done. So it worked. So we got everything unloaded into the tables. Everything was mildly moist, but we managed to dry it off as well as we can. So,
and then we sat with our arms crossed, waiting for Bill to show up with those tablecloths. But he must have already been there, because that's what he said. He was already there. He should have left the tablecloths for us.
I assumed the tablecloths would already be on the table, right? Like,
we were dry cleaning them at the time.
Okay.
That only makes sense, right?
I think they were being pressed at the time. They were pressing them.
Well, thank you for I do thank you for those tablecloths, because I think it did actually help set the tables apart from the other tables, and it made things really easy when people said, where does your stuff start and end? Because that's always a big question at like Barry or any other show I've done. Okay, where's your table start and where does it end, and that kind of stuff.
Mainly for when someone wants to bundle stuff,
Yeah, and it was just easy to say the red tablecloths. Anything on the red tablecloths was me. So.
Yeah. And it convinced people that you were a pro, like a store or something. I remember one dude did not accept that. Remember, he's like, "What's your store?" We're not. We're just a hoarder. We're just selling. Yeah. So, what town is your store at? No, it's not a store. It's just me selling. Yeah. Has it got like an Instagram or something? We're just selling. Yeah. I'll take a card though. What?
He really wanted one.
Was he a little stoned, or his eyes a little red? And...
yeah, that was probably
pupils dilated. Yeah.
So, and then mad dash to get everything set up. I don't know. I felt like we were under pressure to get everything done. I think everything was on the tables, and we still had about half an hour just to fine tune everything. So I think it worked out well. Timing.
I was worried we were going to have not enough room, because when we were setting it up, it really looked full, and we just kept finding more and more space to put things in.
Yeah. Rearrange
you started stacking stuff on the toy end more.
Yeah.
That helped out too.
Yeah. You don't really know what you're dealing with until it's all on the table.
The first year I sold in Barrie, I set up 3 tables in my living room and laid out everything the way I planned on doing it. That was a lot of work though.
I was going to say, that's a lot of prep. I always think about doing that, but then It just never happens because I don't have the space or the time, and it's just kind of like as soon as it's priced and ready to go, it's in the bin, ready to go. Like I'll figure it out when I get there.
Hey, just kind of tape out an area on the floor and fill it up. Hey, Joe, remember doing that our first year, I think?
Yeah, do we have 1 or 2 tables our first year?
It was at least 3 tables high, but it might have just been 1 table.
We went 1 table, but we went for height.
And that's when you learned that people don't look up at conventions.
I know. I don't. What's with that? I don't understand.
Do you look up though? Like when you go to a table, do you look up?
I do.
I'll look at everything. Yeah. I will look at everything.
So you never know what's hiding up on a rack or something that might be like super cheap or something.
Yeah.
I think people are so afraid to catch the eye of the vendor. You know, I don't want to lock eyes with anybody.
Yeah, they really are. So
you might talk to me. Don't make eye contact.
Right.
So Josh, you said you did the 5 tables.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after the setup for everything, how do you feel it was in terms of like, was everything too tight? Do you regret not doing maybe 6?
I think I could have done 6 and just laid things out a little bit better. Just based on what sold and what didn't sell. A lot of the games that were stacked like spines up, a lot of that didn't sell because I think people are looking at the stuff that's face up. And that's one of the reasons why I went with more tables originally, not even here, but even in Barrie, I would do an extra table so that I could lay games face up so people can see that. Because just looking at a spine, everything flows, everything just mingles together and gets lost. If you can have the artwork front and center, everyone can look at it. Oh, that looks cool. And then you hopefully get a sale that way. Because I noticed all the sales I had, most of the sales I had were stuff that you could see the face of. A lot of the stuff in the display case. The stuff in the display case sold pretty well.
Now, is that also because those items were the higher dollar items and that's just what people are looking for?
Potentially, yeah. But even the stuff that... So, Joe, you were really good about pulling stuff out and laying it out and continually like moving products, like putting as stuff away and as stuff and filling gaps with other stuff that wasn't as easy to find. You would put that stuff out and then that stuff would sell, right? You probably even noticed that yourself.
Well, that's what I was doing. Oh, I know. I was doing that just based on past Barrie experience. Like you said, everything just stacked together. People are just skimming it over quickly and you'll miss something. Whereas if you see the face of the product, you'll at least, stop and take a bit more time to look at it or maybe even pick it up, right? And that's when you can possibly get the sale.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. Yeah, everything that sold, and as I was gradually shifting stuff over from the table to the left of me and freeing up more space, I was able to put out more, especially like those DS games and the 3DS stuff. That stuff is selling like hotcakes, man.
Yeah, the DS 3D. Well, I think that also had to do with the 3DS store closing yesterday, but 2 days ago.
But as soon as I put it out from the stack in front of the glass cabinet there, and laid it flat out, gone.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So, so I had 3 display cases this time, and I tried to set those up. I tried to space them out so they weren't all together. Because same thing, if they're all display cases are together. I also did it for stacking purposes, for like having something like bookends. Basically, you can use the cases as the bookend. But it also helps break up your product as well. So you got like high end stuff, then kind of middling stuff, then high end, then middling, then high end, and kind of shifts it out. So not all your high end stuff is on one table, and everyone's trying to look at that table if that's what everyone's looking for. So
yeah, I found that was a big problem when people are hanging out looking at a bunch of stuff, especially the spines of the cases, and then no one else can get in to see those things. They usually just skip by, and maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my original plan. The same thing with Barrie. That's why I originally started getting more tables. And so even here I did 5, assuming that would be okay. And I thought I'd have a little bit more room for some face up stuff, but I easily could have done 6. So. And yeah, like you said, Derek, it was just like, it was a little bit slow to start when the VIPs came in. Like we only had like one or two people kind of looking around.
And we weren't near the door. That makes sense.
Actually, you know what? I really liked where we were. I think that was the perfect spot. I've been at the front of an expo before, and I've been at the back of the expo, and I don't like being at the front or the back. I like being right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens at the front, everyone's rushing through, and everyone's skipping over the first table for some reason.
Okay.
I've been right beside the door before, and I've had people just walk right past and go across to the next table. And at the back, unless you get, you'll have a few of those smart people who will just beeline it, come in and go beeline right for the back and then work their way to the front.
Yeah.
Unless you get those people, which not everyone is that smart to do that. So, but that's usually, if you're listening and you go to expos, that's the play. Beeline to the back and work your way to the front, because everyone's going to hit those front tables first.
Well, to Haji's credit, and I don't know if that was the case for this particular one or not, but he's always taken care of us and put us in a good spot, right? So
absolutely.
Especially the Barry, the show where he's got us lying against the wall there beside the entrance. Perfect spot. Thanks, Haji, for doing that and hopefully always keeping us there.
Yeah.
I did. This time we also realized we had electricity behind us. We could have plugged in some stuff if we needed to, but
that's a secret.
It's not a secret now, but against the wall was nice. And maybe that's also nice to not be in the middle tables too. I don't know if that'd be annoying to have other people behind us.
It is very annoying to have people behind. Again, I've done that as well. Okay. It's annoying because you're constantly tripping over. They've got their stuff there or their bags or their totes, and you're tripping over everyone's stuff. And so even for this, when I signed my agreement, my vendor agreement, and I sent it back, I asked Hodge, I was like, hey, any chance you could put me on a wall? Because I just want. So, and I was glad it was the wall and not the curtain wall, because I like having that hard surface I can lean up against if I need to, or so.
Yeah, there was lots of room to slide behind each other. We didn't really need to even try, even with the bins behind us.
Yeah, lots of room to move.
Yeah.
That's one thing I hate being at those shows, and everything's so claustrophobic and you're tripping over everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then it was just go. Like I said, little VIPs, a little slow start, but once general admission came in, it was pretty much go time. Like there wasn't really a lot of, at least on my end, Bill, I wasn't able to watch you or my father-in-law on the other end very well. So I was hoping you guys were okay. I figured you look after my father-in-law because this was his first event. Yeah. So how did you find things down at that end of the table?
Yeah, it was pretty good. He was really shocked by the whole situation that this many people exist that want to give money to you for these kind of products. He was baffled by it. But no, it was pretty good. We were far enough away from you so we could keep stuffing our pockets. No problem.
Perfect. So, good. There's your cut. That's why, yeah. You've got your cut already.
It was weird, though. The like the jewel case you gave us to work, the high-end case, didn't sell anything out of that thing.
No.
Vita case. I don't know if it's because it was Vita or what. So I was thinking that case should be with the other case maybe, but your argument is pretty valid too to break them up. I don't know.
I think it's, half a dozen, 12 or a dozen of one and half a dozen of the other. It doesn't really matter what you do. It's kind of all the same thing. So because you told me that nothing sold out of that case, my first initial idea would be to paint, this sounds stupid, but paint the inside of it white. Because I feel like the case is too dark and stuff's getting lost. People aren't looking in.
Yeah.
Because the other cases are painted white on the inside, and we had pretty decent success. And it's just an eye draw more than anything.
And Bill had mentioned he thought there might be reflection or that it was too far back or something too. So we tipped it up at the one time too. About halfway through or so. And it still didn't help. And I even tried swapping out 2 of the games from 2 games in Joe's case, and that didn't help it either. I was just hoping we could learn something from that.
I remember we weren't all greased our muscles up like Joe did to get.
That's true. None of us did that but him. Yeah.
Well, we didn't get our nipples out.
Another experience I learned from Barry.
We had our booth dude on the one side.
Yeah.
Our booth bro.
I also wondered whether Joe being at the end, right beside the coffee people, maybe that helped. Partly too. People are like, oh, coffee, I gotta skip that one if they're not into that.
Yeah.
So they take a good look at his stuff and then they buy. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know what it was. There was some reason Joe's stuff was all selling. Sorry, Bill, you were talking.
I'm sorry, but loading up a bag of coffee beans and just slapping a video game sticker on it, and people find that attractive. I don't get it. I don't get that for a second. Unless you're like giving away the bags of beans as a driver to your store. This is where the store, like a giveaway bag. Yeah. They're like $25 a bag just because as a maybe we shouldn't be talking trash about fellow vendors.
I did support the vendor and I bought some white hot chocolate from them. That was $13 a bag. Yeah, you did. I had some the other day. It was pretty good. My daughter had some today too.
Yeah, the bulk barn has good stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
But so your father-in-law, he was manning like the memorabilia and the toys, and you had your one CRT toys TV there, which was Cars, which was the biggest draw of the whole convention. I think like that thing had more pictures.
There was a bigger one, but people didn't notice as much. Right next to that, in the middle.
The big one, yeah.
The big one, the Django Unchained Xbox 360.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I haven't got that.
We set that up later on, but that was when people noticed that, they like, whoa. But you're right. The Cars one definitely caught attention, and you said a lot of people were taking pictures of it.
Oh my God. More people took pictures of that than the girly cosplayers with their business out.
So, Josh, what did you have the prices on for those? I never noticed.
I had them at $220 a piece, and I put them at $220, and I hope for an offer of $200, basically. So, but those TVs are going for like $400 on eBay, ish. So I figured half price, and I wouldn't have to deal with shipping it, basically.
Yeah.
So, but
those are the sales, though. You gotta catch the people like on the way out. Otherwise, it's like. Part of the turnoff might be, well, I don't want to buy this, and it's at the start of the show, and now I got to drag it around. So,
it could also be the location too. We were in Toronto. It's a lot of people are taking the bus to get there. Yeah, because you had that with that Xbox or that PlayStation 2 kit you tried to sell. To a couple guys, and it was just if it wasn't for carrying it, they would have been happy. They would have taken it.
They just didn't want to take it on the bus, basically. Yeah.
It's not just another day on Toronto Transit.
You would think, right? So. Yeah. Like we even said, my father-in-law was even offering free delivery to your car if you have a car. Like he'll carry it out there for you or on a trolley or whatever. So it wasn't a thing. And I have no issue holding something till the end of the show. Like if you want to buy it, then that's fine. Then I'll put it to the side and you come and grab it when you're done. Like I'm not. Yeah. I've done that for people in the past before with big items.
I did see some guys. They bought what looked like an old computer CRT.
That had a Commodore monitor, basically. Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So, other than that, I didn't actually get a chance to go out on the floor. What did you guys see that was cool? I want to hear about it. Joe, I know you took a video, and I watched that, and that looked pretty cool. I saw some cool stuff, but what was catching your guys' eye?
The high prices.
The white hot chocolate.
I was surprised. I saw that Virtual Boy being sold. I saw a lot of Neo Geos in the box for sale.
Wow.
And they were reasonably priced, I guess. I don't know much about them, but there's like a $300 price range boxed, which is surprising.
Doesn't seem too bad at all. No.
Those were the main things that caught my eye. I don't know. There's that Earthbound for $4,000 in box. I didn't see a lot of stuff that I was particularly interested in. I saw more at the Barrie show.
Yeah.
They had more of the dealers that were carrying the stuff that I was interested in, but
except the stuff that was at Josh's table, you almost bought some stuff.
Yeah, no, I was
waiting for an offer. An offer never came from Joe. I was waiting.
He was hoping you were going to pay him for doing the table with the game, right?
It was.
Gotcha.
You know what? this might be the second show I've ever been to where I haven't bought anything, even when I was vending.
I never bought anything for myself. I bought one thing for my wife, one thing for my son, one thing for my daughter. I bought an amiibo for my son, his favorite Smash Bros. Character, Pit. I just went out to the floor and I thought, I'll go take a look if there's any amiibos. My son would really like that amiibo. So they had $19.99 on it. I said, would you take 15? The one guy asked the other guy, is that all right? They said, yeah. So I bought that the first time I walked around the floor, and then I came back over and kept manning the tables. And that was probably over halfway through the show already. And then later on, I went out to the bathroom. On my way back, I thought I'd tour around, so I checked out the rest of the tables I hadn't hit yet, and I found a stupid little Littlest Pet Shop or something like that. 2 little figures in a clearance bin for $1 for my daughter. And then I got my wife a set of Sailor Moon earrings for $13. $13.
Nice.
Did you guys see speaking of bins, did you see that at the very end, if you're looking out from our tables at the left hand at the very end of the hall, there's like 5 or 6 tables just loaded with bins, and all the items were in the bins, and the bins said like
$20.
Everything $5,
$10.
everything $10. It's like
another bin. There was 2 bins that said
find something.
The other 2 of the bins said prices as marked, so everything in the bins has individual prices, which means probably more than $20 because it was on the as the price was going up right to left. It was at the far left.
So they were so lazy they expected you to shuffle through these bins.
But there were people going crazy digging through those bins. Every time I went past there, people were. Maybe one time they weren't, but
I was kind of excited to see those bins, that kind of pricing scheme. But then there was nothing in there.
And did you dug through it?
Just with my eyes.
Quickly. Anyway, anything in there, right? All mushed together, scratched up.
Well, that's what I was worried about too, is how much is that stuff getting beat up in there? What else is in there that's going to be doing damage to this stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, it sure is a nice, convenient way to do it as a seller, but
it's definitely
translation lazy way.
Lazy way, yeah. I only had my bulk price item box was my dollar bin. I think maybe. Do you guys see any other dollar bins there? Or was I the only dollar bin? Not that my dollar bin was very big.
I was looking. I saw one table had a really crappy cardboard box filled with Atari on the floor under a table. So I thought, oh, this is the good stuff right here.
That's where you want, yeah.
$1 each, 50 cents each. Crappy old Ataris. The first Atari cart I pick up had a price of $40 on the bottom of it. What if these are quality items, they should be on your freaking table, not me digging through the dirt for them.
Yeah.
Jerk. So I didn't look at anything else. I just kicked it back under the table and walked away.
That's what I expect.
Yeah.
So, Derek, you touched on when you were picking that stuff up for your kids, you threw an offer out. Did you guys notice that not a lot of people were willing to try and haggle? It's just like, yep. What's this cost? $200. Okay, here you go.
No, with the lower price stuff, I noticed people were asking. Like if it was $20, they were, or whatever else, like somewhere around $20, they were asking for some kind of deal.
Really?
Most of the time.
I'm the opposite. Yeah. I'm like, the higher it is, the more.
Well, you were also you were manning the higher end table, so and I noticed the higher end stuff. People weren't asking for deals; they were just paying it.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Ask for $5 off, $10 off.
Yeah, like, nobody.
Something costs $200, and you say, "Can you do it for $190?" The answer is yes.
Yeah.
But, these patrons, these are like city folk, right? And maybe they're not so worldly. Like the first guy we had at our table, the first customer buying from the dollar bin for $3. $4 if you have a Visa machine, because he didn't bring any cash. First thing in the morning. Well,
yeah, I think they're just used to stores that aren't willing to negotiate too. That's my guess.
Yeah, I kind of had to shake my head a little bit when he was asking for a $4 e-transfer.
Yeah.
Which I did, and I was a little concerned because I was like, is this how this day's gonna go? I'm gonna be doing $4 or $5 e-transfers? Like
Yeah.
But
he was the only one, thankfully.
That low anyway. There was a couple
that low.
fairly low. You've got the record, I'm sure, of how many were at what prices, but there were some like, $10, $7 ones in there.
I think the lowest I had was 10 after that. I don't think I had anything lower than 10. Yeah.
Okay.
So
there's a lot of transfers.
But it's
man.
Yeah. So I think that's key is sorry, was that?
Your father-in-law was pretty stymied by that guy too. He's like, that guy shows up here without cash. Wow. Well, yeah, it's all tight.
Yeah, it makes
no
sense.
It was a lot of people that were asking if we took credit cards or other payment methods, and luckily Josh had an email address already ready to go that was not his own personal email address for transfers.
That was brilliant. You doled that out right away. You had some business cards and you threw your email address on that for all of us just to hand out if anyone said e-transfer. We just said, boom, send it here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that kind of came spur of the moment. Like I knew I was going to have to do it, but then I realized quickly, I'm like, oh, I need to give these to everybody. So, and I used Joe's nice printing to print those out. Because I wrote the first one out, like I could barely read my own writing. I was like, I need somebody.
You asked me if my writing was any better. I told you it is not.
Explains why it looked like Morse code on there. That's Joe's handwriting.
Next time Bill's writing it.
Okay, yeah, we'll compare.
That's what I heard.
So, but yeah, I said this during the show and after the show. I don't think if I didn't take e-transfer, I wouldn't have made half the sales that I did. Because I think that was a big contributor to, facilitating sales.
I don't know why though. If you're going to a show, why not just withdraw a big amount of cash? You can always redeposit it, right?
Yeah, you would think.
I think they're all just used to not using cash anymore.
They haven't had cash in years in their pockets. They don't have driver's licenses. They don't have cash. They just live in downtown, and that's the world. I thought there's anything wrong with that.
Even though how many ATMs were there? Were there 3? 2 or 3?
At least 2.
At least 2.
Yeah.
There might have been a third one outside.
I didn't see for sure, but the ATM's going to charge you a fee if it's not your bank, right? And those
that's
will
true.
Be third party.
There were definitely fees on those.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so if you're taking money out, make it worth it.
Yeah, pull out a couple hundred.
Yeah.
And there was definitely people that pulled out the hundreds. So like my first big sale, actually my biggest sale that I ever did was that guy who just came up and wanted all the Shantae stuff that I had, minus the big Shantae one. But he was just like, I want all the limited run Shantae stuff, this. You got anything else? I'm like, oh, I got these collector's editions over here. Yep, bring those over. Yep. So what he said, if I buy more, you give me a deal? I said, sure. Well, how much of a deal? I'm like, let's put it all together and I can't give you a deal on half the stuff and then you add more and then I got to try to add. I'm like, just put it all together. Well, I want to make sure you're giving me a deal. I'll give you a deal. Don't worry about the deal. I'll give you a deal. So finally ran through everything, and I think the actual total of everything that he wanted was $680. I think it was going to come up to. He said, what can you give me a deal? I said, how about $650? Yep, no problem. He was happy with that.
Bill's like, how about 400?
Exactly.
I expected a counter. I was like, I'll pull a little bit off. He'll probably counter back. And he never did. He just, yep, 650 sounds good. Yeah. Pulls out a wad of hundreds and just starts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here you go.
He came prepared.
Man.
Yeah.
I had a hard time. Keeping a straight face.
Yeah, like that time me and Josh played good cop, bad cop. It was actually more like car salesman and sales manager. The way
yes, I heard about that.
Because he came to me with a stack. I think the full stack might have been worth $120, and he said, I don't know, he wanted to pay maybe just $100 for it. I'm like, that's like giving you a whole free game. That seems like a bit too much. And he's like, okay, no, I'll just take this first game off. I won't get this game. I'm like, oh, pump the brakes there. I want you to get that game. Hold on a second here. Let's work. I got the boss over here. Let's see if we can do something. Put that game back. It's worth $120. Maybe we can get him to do like $110, and then you take $110, right? He's like, yeah, I'd probably do $110. and go, "Hey, boss, like the car salesman goes to the sales manager now and has a fake conversation." And then Josh is like, and pulls the heavy, right? And he's the bad cop. So he's like, "Well, how about 115?" And then the kid said yes. So he's only $5 away from his original thing. Like, holy shit, that shit works. That's why they do that at car lots.
Like at that point, he's just like, I want to get my games and get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then Josh has to go talk to Joe. Well, I got a guy over here.
Yeah.
Joe comes back. 120. 120 is a good price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It worked out well. Jeez.
So
What
your
else?
father-in-law had a good time.
I think he did have a good time. I think he
seemed
was
like it. He was smiling.
I think he was tired, but he had a good time. He was so, I think, like Bill said, just flabbergasted the amount of money people would pay for just stuff that he considers essentially junk. Like, he doesn't care about video games at all. Like, he doesn't know anything about them. He just wanted to come and see the show. He's retired, so he was just like, I'm bored. Let me come with you. So
You're going to see him picking up games to sell.
So
it was funny. Everyone kept asking. You put that stupid, what's that console called? An Ouya?
The Ouya, yeah.
In front of him. And everyone would come up and say, what is this thing? And he'd be like, I don't know. He'd pull my shoulder.
3 of those sold. 2 out of 3 sold.
I didn't know. I'm like, it's a thing that games go on somehow.
It's an Android, like.
It's a thing with games.
Collectible. Yeah. You want it, but
yeah,
he had many people ask him that, and then he just started. No,
I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised that you sold 2 of the 3. I'm like, why would you bring 3? Like the last show, I brought 2. I didn't even set them out. I'm just like, these aren't gonna sell.
I sold them both $40 a piece.
Yeah.
So, and I got them for free.
Yeah, and you got another one to sell yet.
Yeah, I got another one.
Were they buying it as a blind purchase, like they didn't know what it was, or they did?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't even know they had sold. All of a sudden, money was just going in the cash box. So clearly, my father-in-law sold them on something. They must have known what it was.
This was another highlight of the show when things were really rocking and rolling, and we somehow got Derek to be the banker. So all of us were just shoving money and our phones at him at the same time
with pictures of what sold. Yeah.
Phil
got a little crazy.
Watching him get flustered with all this money was very entertaining. He was dumping on the floor, and he was using your $4,000 Xbox console display table as his banker's table, and so that was shaking with all the money. Oh man, that was funny.
What time was that? Was that like after general public got in, or like the normal guys?
A huge wave came at us.
Yeah, it was busy right then.
Yeah,
we just had money flying in left and right. We couldn't keep up.
Yeah. So you think the spreadsheet did get filled out all the way? You think with all our sales, or
mostly
much missing?
I think everything. There was a few things that probably got missed, but obviously they're not in the tote. They're big stuff. Like, I'm not sure if the Ouyas got marked down. I haven't looked.
Well, I remember doing at least one of them. I think I remember doing both.
Maybe did both of them. So
yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, but I think marking down prices was probably one extra step that maybe didn't have to happen. It's nice for keeping track for us, but in terms of like, we were able to keep track of just counting how much we had, and then we could check the e-transfers. We could see how much was totaled there. The main thing that I wanted to keep track of was the stuff I was selling for my friend, because that's the stuff I had to keep separate, and I had to know how much I was going to pay him out of that stuff. So, but I think the main benefit to having a spreadsheet and all the prices is when those stupid stickers, when they fall off, because for some reason these stickers are really bad at this point, they kept falling off. And so we were able to check the price list, and I didn't have to go on eBay and reprice it. At that point, I could just check the list. Oh, that's marked at 15 or 40.
Yeah.
And we could just throw a sticker back on it, and away we go. That did bite me in the ass because that Batman game that sold for NES was priced incorrectly because I forget what happened. Someone said Batman for NES, and so I gave them the Batman price and not the Batman Returns price.
I think so.
And so it was Batman Returns that sold for 20 instead of the 40 that the Batman Returns was supposed to be.
Yeah. So you got a good price.
You got a really good deal on that. And it was already
a seller, but
yeah.
He might
I know exactly who it was.
Yeah,
I knew
too.
exactly. Yeah. But
the guy who always has the Sega my God. Master System games.
Yeah.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah. I think his name's Flavio.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's always selling online, isn't he?
probably.
Fabio's games.
Yeah, I did see that card.
Derek, would it have been easier to have the spreadsheets on like a tablet and you're just clicking stuff off on a tablet?
I almost wonder. I haven't done that yet myself, but like if you did a search for things, you could find it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's tempting to try, or I guess search wouldn't work great on a tablet because then you got a touchscreen keyboard.
Well, bring a laptop so you could have a keyboard or a Bluetooth keyboard for a tablet or something.
But then you need room for a laptop.
Yeah,
That's
but we
the
could
reason
make
I haven't
room.
done that yet.
We could make room.
Yeah.
We'll set up another make. We had more totes. We could have built another table.
Or just bring another table ourselves, like how all the other people did. Just bring a table and set it up.
Yeah.
That I didn't understand because in the vendor agreement it said you couldn't bring your own tables, but maybe they meant you couldn't bring your own tables to set up like in the aisle. But if you're behind your table, it's fine because shelves would have been okay.
I saw both.
So.
I saw on the side of another table. I saw in front of other tables. I saw people who set up shelves that were like a grocery store shelving, like you had to walk in those shelves to see everything.
Yeah. So interesting to, and I don't. Maybe it's just like one of those blanket statements that's set in a thing so they can enforce it if they choose to.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I don't think they had time to do it.
No.
The group beside us, they had an extra table and they masked it with a tablecloth on it so it looked like it was a convention table, but it wasn't. I knew what was going on. I just totally wanted to narc on him.
That guy also kept dropping his games too. People kept bumping into his the stuff on his table and knocking the game case off the back.
He dropped it twice. That display case.
People walking by hitting his games at the end on the outside of the table, and then he would push back all the way back and knock his display case down.
Jeez, I couldn't imagine. I'd be so upset. Oh, man.
So, Josh, you touched on briefly, you said you'd look up pricing on eBay. Did you price all your stuff through price charting or through eBay?
I do eBay because I find price charting is a little bit slower to catch up. Price charting is a good, like, I just need a general price on something, but you're not going to get the most accurate, especially if something is going to spike really quickly. Price charting is not going to catch that. It's going to take a while for that to show into that pricing. So I would just do eBay sold listings. And then generally I would take $5 to $10 off of that, off the lowest price I could see. Because I assume people are going to be coming and they're going to check eBay listings and they're going to see this is cheaper than that. And that should be enough to hopefully sell it.
These dealers that come to these conventions, like, do they go through their inventory and mark their stuff down? Because we all know at the game stores, their retail is way above even eBay prices. So how do they compete in these conventions?
I don't know.
I think everyone does something different.
Are they banking on we're an established brand, so that's why it costs you?
I think the stores come in with their store prices.
I think most of them do. They're not repricing them. Half of them don't even price the games, let alone price them again for each convention or convention versus in store.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still tables I saw there with no prices on the games. I just walked away. Or they'd have a price on every 10th game. It's like, what is the point in that? I just walked away.
What about the color-coded ones? Oh, if it's a blue sticker, it's $10. If it's a green sticker...
That's better than no prices, but not by much.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't want to calculate it. Put a number on it.
Too much work for the customer. Forget it.
Yeah. Too much work.
So what are you going to do with your that expensive console now?
The Jenga one? I think
explain that yet to anybody?
It's been on the show. I think I think I've talked about it. I talked about it last episode as well about potentially bringing it. So I did bring it with the intention. I did pack it with the intention of selling it, but then 2 days before the show, or 3 days before the show, Derek sends me the listing for the Tarantino Blu-ray set. That came as part of the original prize package that you would have won if you won that Xbox console. So once I already had the Django Blu-ray, and then once I had the Tarantino Blu-ray set and the console, now I've got the full set. Now I'm not so sure I want to sell it anymore. So, so I brought it, and I had a price tag like printed, but I didn't actually put the price tag out because I wasn't sure. And I don't think anyone would have bought it anyway. And if they're actually curious, I told them, around $3,500, somewhere in there.
I think we had a good number of people, like maybe 10, 15 people actually ask what it's worth or what it is or why isn't there a price on it.
Yeah. So it would have just been like it would have to be somebody like a very serious collector with deep pockets who would want that. I didn't think I'd find that at the show. So it just became more of like hey, come and look at this cool thing. Rather than it sitting in my basement and no one gets to see it. It's kind of cool to bring it out.
Yeah.
And since the last show, I also had emailed the company that made it for the Tarantino giveaway, Color Wave, right? Colorware. Sorry. Yeah. And they're basically they customize consoles and controllers and stuff. I emailed them and said, do you have any details about this thing? And all they basically could tell me is that they knew 31 were made. So that information, as far as I could find on the internet, doesn't exist anywhere. Nobody else seems to know that 31 were made. There was a theory that only like 8 were made because that showed in one of the pictures of it from the promotional stuff. So that we learned that. Josh included that on his little sign that he put on it at the show. It's pretty cool.
Have you tested that thing?
I have. Turns on. It reads.
There's no disc in it when you first.
No disc. No, nothing.
There's a solid gold chunk.
Well, it's funny when I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this, but when I bought it from this family, and I just said, "Oh, where did you get this? How'd you get it?" And apparently, it was this girl's brother. He worked at HMV and got it through HMV, so he must enter the contest and won it, or whoever won it didn't want it. And either way, he ended up with it. And they didn't even use it for Xbox. They didn't play games on it. They'd use it as a DVD player. It just sat under their TV for years. They just watched DVDs. It's crazy. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to build a shelf for it. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it to more shows to show off.
Definitely.
You should build some kind of like display case for it that you can transport it in.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, glass case. You can get those at like Michael's that hold football helmets.
Oh, can you? Okay.
They're pretty expensive though, but
it's probably worth it though, just to have it look nice.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're not great. Like it's not real. I think it's plexiglass. It's not real glass.
Well, yeah.
So,
okay. I'm thinking of like one. I've got one that holds a football, and I bought one for James's Game Gear that I got for him. That red Game Gear. I picked one up for that, and I think it was like originally like $60 for just this glass case that holds a Game Gear. But luckily, Michael's has coupons all the time, so that helps a lot.
No, those are scams. Those coupons are for not valid for everyday priced items or some shit like that.
Well, it worked for the display case. Yeah.
Well, the square one that's clear all the way around, that's not glass, so it's not crazy.
Yeah.
I even saw one at Value. I kind of kicked myself for not picking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have one. I have like a transformer in it because I'm a nerd. But and I have a dusty house.
I've got controllers in my display case there, another one on the other side, and I got 3 more for controllers too. But none of them fit the Django. Or I would have brought it if it did, but the 2 of them that are down below here that would have fit it have shelves that are glued in there. So that would be no good.
It wouldn't fit. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit.
No, that looks great on a show. If you could like little strand of lights too.
Yeah.
Battery powered lights around it.
Yeah.
Look pretty cool. That's what was lacking to draw the eyes up to it. Just a little bit of light shining on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and probably should use a different color tablecloth. I think the red on red probably made it a little hard to see too.
Black would have been good, maybe.
Yeah, hard to see. We'll see. Yeah, I got something to.
And no one looks up, so they didn't say that. So.
And that too. So all this. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So the whole reason for the show is because you were trying to downsize your gaming collection, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Which I don't know if you're watching video, you can see, but can you tell?
No.
Exactly.
No, because you used to have it double deep. That's why.
You can't tell that's even changed. So, I mean, it's all now sitting out in my hallway. So,
for the next show. Have you signed up for Barry Game Exchange yet?
I haven't signed up for Barry yet. So this is my next.
Thinking about it.
This is my next dilemma. My next dilemma is: do I do Barry, or do I just wait for the next Toronto show? What do I do?
I think we told a number of people to come see us in Barry.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, that one guy wanted a Guitar Hero dongle for a Logitech guitar, though, so that we don't have that.
No. That's true. What about you guys? What are you guys thinking? Are you guys going? Obviously, you're going, but are you selling or what's going on?
I was about to buy my tables yesterday, and I'm like, wait, maybe I'll just check with Josh, see what he's doing. But I don't have anything really valuable.
Yeah,
I don't have big ticket items. I just got stuff I need to sell. And at this point, I'm tempted to just get tables to sell stuff. I don't care if it's cheap stuff. I just want it gone at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what people want, though. That's what people want. I think Barry is the perfect place to do that.
And maybe the solution is to get more tables than I need and just display it out so it can be seen better. Yeah. Maybe that would help.
Yeah, but that eats into your bottom line, and you're taking the bigger gamble. That
true.
We are taking the same stuff we take to every show,
but we get a better deal on tables at Barrie than we do in Toronto.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think we've probably all had a bad show where we've made just maybe $50 or $70, right? Like,
oh yeah,
you just
are like,
no. I haven't yet.
Derek's that guy.
Come on, Derek.
I haven't yet. I haven't had one that I haven't made less than. What was the lowest one? Niagara. What the heck did I make there? 300, 400?
Maybe something like that, yeah. My lowest show was like a KW game swap. And I think I made like $40.
Yeah, I never did that one.
That was after, like, I made enough to pay for the table and then $40 profit after that. Right. And that was,
yeah.
I mean, when your consoles don't go and a couple of your heavy hitters don't go, you're just going, come on, just one thing.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah. I think that Niagara show would have been that for me if I hadn't sold the modded Xboxes, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that saved me that time.
But even those are probably getting harder and harder to sell now because there's so many other emulation options out there now. People aren't thinking about OG Xbox to do that.
Yeah, the biggest problem is I don't actually post them for sale.
Oh, that too.
That's screwing me over right now. I've got one for sale and I just never get around to posting them.
Derek, have you changed the games that you've put on it, or is it still like the same one that you gave me?
It is a different set of games. I forget how many was on there, but there's not much more than what you've got. It's a different emulator bundle, like it was CoinOps 7, I think, is what I put on yours, and CoinOps 8 is this new one that I've been using, and it has maybe like 200 games more, which isn't much when you're talking about 4,000 games.
Is it worth me swapping out?
I don't know. You want to buy one?
I don't know. Do I?
It's not really noticeable. You won't notice a difference.
All right.
Yeah.
I think Derek owes me a modded one. Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Well, Joe got one.
Well, Joe paid for it, but yeah.
For it.
Yeah.
Bill,
right.
Bill thinks I get everything for free.
I did. What did I do for mine? I just brought you my Xbox and we did part exchange basically, right? So,
yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there's
I'll
an
do
option.
that. I'll bring you my. Kevin modded my Xbox, which was great, but an upgrade might be good.
I don't want to mod it once it's already modded. That's more difficult.
Oh, you got to mod a mod. There's a surcharge for that. Yeah.
It's just a matter of swapping the hard drive out.
You gotta image the hard drive onto another one so it has the exact same stuff. Like you want to have the same thing on it. You also need to copy the encryption key over, because every Xbox has an encryption key for that hard drive, or for that motherboard. So you need to copy that key over too. So it's basically you gotta unplug the DVD drive after you boot it up, then plug in a second hard drive and power that with an external USB brick, external power brick, and then run a Linux app on it. If it has been modded before, you can just run that, no problem, copying it over FTP. But if you haven't modded before, you need to do an exploit with a game that has an exploitable hack, which is usually Splinter Cell that I use.
Right.
So once you got that
halfway
in,
done for you.
Yeah. But did you do it good? That's the other question.
It's still working.
So does it start up to Evolution X or XBMC or? He has no idea.
Does it look normal when you turn it on? Come on, keep layman's terms here, Derek.
Well, I know, but does it start up to the Microsoft launcher or does it start up to a third-party one?
The third-party one, CoinOp, is one of the options you can scroll to.
Is the scroller in the middle, or is it like a circle with a blue background?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay. So that one is, I forget what it's called now, but that's not the one I use, but it's still easy enough. Yeah. But your hard drive has to be big enough as well for this big bundle of games. Either way, no one wants to hear this.
Derek has extra hard drives, just saying.
I do have hard drives. It just means more work.
That's good.
So... well, in terms of tables, same. I will stand by getting more tables than less tables. I think it helps you stand out. Again, you're fighting for eyes at these places, because you're literally, when you think about market stuff, it's like, oh, I'm gonna sell this thing. Like if you're setting up a store, you wouldn't set a game store up around a bunch of other game stores, right? Like it doesn't make sense. You're just gonna get lost. But essentially, that's exactly what we're doing at Game Swaps, is we're all selling games at the same spot, hoping...
Technically, that's actually proven to work well. When car dealerships set up near other car dealerships, it's actually proven that they sell more cars. Because people are more likely to come from further away to that area to check it out.
Because they're all in that area, yeah.
Yeah. Listowel, right? Listowel is all cars.
It's all cars, yeah. I guess it would depend on how big the purchase is, right? Like a car is a big purchase, so yeah, you want to hit them all. But if it's a coffee shop,
yeah, they say it with McDonald's and Burger King too, like Burger King, McDonald's and stuff. They always set up across from each other. What was it? Subway and stuff like that had done that as well. I forget what it was. Subway.
Well, Subway sets itself up.
Yeah, they screw themselves over because the franchisees get screwed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So. But either way, my point is, like, you're setting vendors of video games beside vendors of other video games. So your competition is literally right beside you.
Yeah.
So if you don't have enough space, you just get glossed over. Same reason. Like, can you imagine if I only had one table at the Toronto show, right? How many people would have just moved on?
Yeah.
Like you would just kind of
more likely to have people blocking when there's only one table, and then people
if you have one or two people just looking at stuff who aren't serious about buying, they're essentially blocking your whole table, and they're not.
Or a dude buying, but it takes a while because they're waiting on an e-transfer. That happened several times where people just pass on by because they don't want to try and look around people.
So I think even though it's an added expense, as Bill's saying, it eats out of your bottom line. I think you make that up in extra sales by just having more eyes being able to be on your product. It's worked for me.
You should just buy 5 tables, put your Django Unchained console in the middle table, and leave the other ones blank.
Yeah. Everyone look here.
You're selling just one thing.
Pays for everything.
Can I put my Spider-Man book beside it?
Yeah, for sure.
It ruins the image. It doesn't work then.
You put it on one end.
The far table, yeah.
And then Derek puts his Xbox controller on the other end, and then
yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, can I get feedback from you guys about like what do you guys think I could have done better? Obviously, I did the best I could, but there's always room for improvement. So I'm open for some criticism here, and hoping you guys have some insight that I haven't thought about.
Well, at one time I was thinking it'd be good to group the games by what console they're for.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it didn't seem to matter. But that if I was looking at the table, that's the one thing I would have been like, oh, like all your bulk games were definitely like that. But the expensive ones weren't along with those bulk ones of the same console. No. If I was buying, that might have been like the expensive ones are all mixed up. But that's the only thing I could think of, really.
Okay.
I was going to say.
You're right, Bill.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Obviously, we still had Joe with his nipples poking through his boy size 5 t-shirt. I think he should just go straight shirtless. He can definitely bring some more people that way.
It's true. Yeah.
I was going to suggest you should lose the sausage fest behind the table and just staff it with hot chicks.
Hire some ladies, yeah.
Yeah.
And your sales will go off out the roof there. But
sometimes those nerdy guys aren't going to want to talk to a girl.
Oh, yeah.
But if they see me or Bill there, they're willing to talk and they chat it up.
Yeah, what are they buying off you? That's what you want.
Well, that's another topic altogether. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll need some contact info there, Joe, if you got something.
Yeah.
You hire people for that, Josh.
I would, based on the success of all the e-transfers, I'd probably have like little signs on your table saying cash or e-transfer.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea.
And already have your e-transfer thing on there.
Yeah.
That way you can just point at it. You don't have to look for a card.
Don't have to worry about someone who can write it nicely.
Yeah.
What is the cost to get that Visa Square deal going?
There's none to actually get the Square. Like, it's free. And if you get the base unit, there's an upgraded version that I would have to get because I don't have a headphone jack. If your phone has a headphone jack, you can just go to Square and be like, give me the Square reader, and they'll send it to you for free. They get their money because they take a percentage of everything that comes through the card reader. So it's like 2 or 3% of everything that goes through.
They charge the buyer?
That comes out of your cut, right? So, yeah. So you'd still, if it's a $20 item, you're putting $20 through the card.
Josh already has the headphone one.
I have the headphone one.
Port. But I have older phones that you could just use that.
Yeah.
Tether it to Wi-Fi to your regular phone, and boom, we got a card payment phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think I actually lost sales by people not taking card? Because as soon as you said e-transfer, they're like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, but that was the first ask. You guys taking Visa, debit? That was the first ask.
I think there might have been one person that walked away.
I was thinking moving them along much quicker than, because there's the e-transfer, they're plugging it in, we got to wait on you.
True. The e-transfer takes a while.
Yeah.
So people might have skipped over the table because the e-transfer was taking so long.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, then I'll probably just honestly just get the upgraded unit. Like, it's just going to cost me like $60 to get it, but it's not.
It might help with the higher priced items.
Yeah.
People might be more hesitant. Cash or e-transfer is still money coming out of their account, whereas Visa,
they can worry about it
later. They don't have to pay it back right away. Right? It's free money.
It's a future Joe problem.
True. Then I have to go through my recertification project or process. But it's funny. Both my dad and I got it. We even got it for. We were gonna have a garage sale. My dad got it for a garage sale, and no one even asked to use it. We have signs up. Yeah, we'll take Square, but no one. I think people just thought we were trying to scam them because Square was kind of new back then. They're like, "Oh, I'm not swiping my card at a garage sale. You're gonna steal my info." So.
Yeah, I think for this location, downtown Toronto, with the precious folks down there, that's definitely looking for something to tap.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
I wouldn't say Square either because people don't know what that is.
Yeah, just say take the credit
just say
card.
Visa.
Yeah,
yeah,
Visa.
Keep it simple for the
Yeah.
dummies out there.
Is that the thing Amazon sells? I see they sometimes have a little handheld credit.
I think they have their own, don't they?
I think they're their own. They might have their own setup for that, but
because that looked very familiar to what you see in stores, and then that would make people feel confident.
Yeah, my mom's got a Square for her hair salon, and it's like a decent sized unit. It Bluetooths to the phone. It's got Wi-Fi. It does Wi-Fi, and it's got a printer built into it as well for receipts.
Yeah, right. Receipts.
So,
yeah,
that's essentially what I'd have to get, because again, no headphone port, and it looks more professional. I think it does look sketchy when I have a little e-reader, a little card reader plugged into my phone. I'm like, here, just swipe your card on my phone.
Totally.
I don't know, Josh, in terms of maybe prepping for the next show, be it Barrie or maybe especially the Toronto one next time in October, you could always prep each table, prep a bin per table. And that way you can also, do this layout at your house. That way you can maximize the space in terms of, like you said, displaying the items better. We're trying to maximize where you can have more items face up as opposed to spine up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then just pack that stuff in that one bin. That bin is for that table. Helps with unpacking. Stuff isn't going to get mixed up.
True. Yeah. Now I have space in those bins. I can actually do that. Before I was just kind of like cramming it wherever I had space. But yeah. If I have enough bins to do that, that's absolutely a good idea.
So. And time, but I mean, you prepare far enough a day.
If you go ahead soon enough, early enough. Yeah.
So, are you going to be picking more cherries out of your collection for the next show?
Probably a little bit here and there.
Do you want to what? So, what's the end goal for your collection?
To be honest, I don't really know. Obviously, I'm still collecting for Wii U. That's kind of been my focus. But it's even Wii U is getting harder and harder to do. So it's just kind of been like, if I see it, I'll grab it. But I'm not actively pursuing. It's just kind of, if it falls in my lap, I'll get it. But I also just want to kind of keep it to stuff that I'm really interested in, because I did, even though I've told myself over the past how many years, I'm only going to get the stuff that I want to play. Inevitably, I put stuff on my shelf because it looks nice, because it's an RPG, but I don't play RPGs, so why do I have it on my shelf? So,
it's a great question. Why do you have it on your shelf?
Yeah, Joe. Why do you have it on?
Because it's meant to be looked at.
Why do you have a Transformer on your shelf in a display case, Bill?
Spine only.
I'm not buying games for a system I don't have.
I'm waiting for a particular system to be created to play it. Analog, if you're listening.
Oh yeah, how are those other analogs working that you don't open?
Nicely boxed up there.
Sealed black boxes. Beautiful.
Expensive ones too.
So you're collecting the Wii U. You want to go complete on that. What other, do you want to have like a little bit for every system, or just like
not every system anymore. So I've put my whole Sega Saturn up for sale and all the games for that, because I just don't play it. So there's no point in it sitting here. I did the same with my Neo Geo Pocket Color. I didn't play that, even though it's a handheld. I only had 2 games for it, and I've had those 2 games for 10 years, and I've probably played them once because I just wanted to try them out. I played it for 10 minutes and then put it away. So is that worth me keeping, or would I rather have the $200 that I sold it for? So
I got to see that Saturn outside of its box
just once, and then you had to put it away, didn't you?
Yeah, looky-loo.
And we know who this. You could tell this guy. He spent so much time in front of our tables, just annoying everyone.
He did it at the next table too.
Looking at everything like he's a big buyer, and then putting it back
questions
down, looking shit up. Then he gets to the Saturn, which was in front of me in the box. He asked because Josh had a sticker on there saying, had a new battery. I don't know. He's like, what's a battery? I'm like, I don't know. It's got a new battery. Yeah, but what is a battery? I don't know. A battery, Josh. What's a battery in this thing? Battery in the back.
Save games or something.
So then he wants
system clock, basically.
Is it okay if I open this and look at it? Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm thinking big deal coming on here. When they get their hooks into the
Bill Kamish coming.
Yeah. So he's pulling all the stuff and he's just tossing the cables and stuff side to side, opening all the flaps, take the controller out. Then he gets down to the console, picks it up and goes, "Oh, it's used." Like, yeah. It's at this point I know this is what this guy's all about. So I'm like, yeah, put it back, please. We're done. Oh yeah, let me put it back for you. And he puts the console back, closes the flaps, and tries to close the lid. Meanwhile, all the cables and the controllers are all strewn about. I'm like, I got it. Just move along. Go. I couldn't believe it. Well, I couldn't believe it because we've seen that type before, but
yeah,
so,
pulls everything apart. And then he was looking at the Indiana Jones Blu-ray set I had at the end of the table, and he said, "Oh, I'm interested. I'll come back for that. No one's gonna buy that. I'll come back and buy it at the end of the show." Sure enough, he comes back when we're packing up. "Hey, are you the one with that Indiana Jones?" I said, "I was." "Oh, I'll take it now." I was like, "It's gone." So, I don't have it anymore.
He would change his mind anyways.
Yeah. God. And he was gonna offer me less.
Disc out and check them. Oh, they're used. Oh no.
This guy.
Yes, this is a sealed Saturn in the box. That's not sealed, but
yeah,
it's sealed, but it's got a new battery in it.
Yeah.
No, I opened it up, changed the battery, and sealed it back in the box.
I sealed it. Yeah, I threw my Scotch tape back on that thing. You can't tell the difference.
I was super worried about the battery, dude. So I knew I had to dig into it to do that. Otherwise, brand new.
Yeah.
If you look at that box, you can tell it's not brand new. There's holes in it. It is ripped up. It is. I literally just put it in there and said, if you want the box, it's free. But that's just the price of a loose Saturn. You get the box for nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe, to answer hopefully more to your question, I'm trying to limit it to the stuff that I actually want to play. Eventually, rather than asterisks. Yeah, and I've also seen like what I've been interested in has changed. So I find myself looking more for how do I say it? Like cheaper games, just like. Or even what do I want to say? Like the Disney Pixar games, because like they're cheap and easy and fun. Not even that cheap anymore, but they're just like
fun.
But they're fun. Again, they're probably not fun, but they're fun because they're not fun. The same reason like a bad movie is fun because it's a bad movie. It's the same reason I like these games because they're stupid fun, and that's what I want video games for. I'm not playing a video game because I'm into the story and I want to be emotionally involved and all this stuff. I just want to sit down and I want to play and I want to have fun and I want to play for a couple hours or 1 or 2 hours and then move on. So my collecting has moved more towards that. So like my DS, like I had Chrono Trigger on the DS. I'll never play it on the DS, so I sold it. And if I really want to play it, I've got the SNES Classic. It's on there. I can play it. So I'm not actually losing it. I've gained $150 basically. So.
All right, so it's going to be a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
And the stuff that I am selling that I'm still kind of iffy. I'm not sure if I want to sell. The idea is to have all that stuff on emulation, so I can play it on my Wii U or whatever. Or I've got the mini consoles, so I'm modding those so I can have all my cartridge games on there, because I likely won't break out my original Nintendo to plug it in and try to get my cartridge working on it and playing it for a little bit, and then I have to get stuck on a password system, or I got to leave it on overnight because I can't save it. So I want to be able to plug it in and play, and kids are being stupid. I got to go fix that. I can just save state it and shut it off. And I can come back when I'm ready, and I'm right back where I started. So, or right back where I left. Right back.
You found
back
a
where I
way to
left off.
fix kids being stupid? Can you tell me now?
No.
Okay.
That's why I have to
Just
go
curious.
and fix it. It's an ongoing fixing.
It's a temporary
not
solution.
on the show, Derek. That's all.
Yeah, I was just really hoping we had the solution to that here.
Not where there's a video record of it. Well, you definitely, after seeing what you sold, it's definitely motivated me, I think, to dig a little bit deeper
Okay.
into my stuff and maybe bring some stuff to the Barry show. Like I might dump off my 64 collection
Yeah. Okay.
because I'll never play it because it looks like shit.
How dare you? How dare you?
You could just do what I did and order an N64 mod chip to get HDMI out. Josh showed me that the other day. When was that? That was
Like a month
2
ago.
months ago, a month ago now. Yeah. I pre-ordered an HDMI mod thing. I don't remember which one it was, but Josh pointed out it was on sale and it was like pre-order. So I'm like, sure, I've been wanting one for a while. I'll get it. So
Did it show up yet?
no, I have no idea when it's shipping, but that's okay. I'm not in a hurry for N64, but eventually I'd like to have one in HDMI modded. So that's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
Is that the one that Will got for like $200?
I have no idea. It's not Ultra 64. I know that. That's the one I was always looking at before.
This was a new kit that just came up on our market that had pretty good reviews. So
Is the Ultra one the best one?
That's what I've always heard is good. Yeah.
So what else, Joe, are you thinking of dumping? Just N64 or what else? What else
That'd
are
be
you?
my first go-to.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I like a little bit from all the systems. So if anything, it would just be trimming the fat from all the consoles that I have.
Yeah.
I don't think I could really get rid of, like, even my 64. I'm gonna keep my 2 Mint box WrestleMania 2000 and WCW versus NWO games because I bought those as a kid back in the day and they were awesome. But everything else for that particular system, I got no real love or attachment for.
Mm-hmm.
And
did we need to know they were Mint in box?
What's that, Conan? What?
What?
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh, I understand. If anything has sentimental value, then yeah, you should keep it. Like, don't.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. Like even the cartridge stuff that I kept is not because I plan on playing it. This is just sentimental. So.
Yeah.
Well, the collector mentality too is hard to get away from when you have stuff and for whatever system and you've never played it and you know you're not going to play it now, but we don't know in the future that we might want to play it in the future because we've all gone through purges before growing up where we've got rid of all of our stuff and then if I only had that again. And so that's kind of the anxiety I have about pruning my collections a little bit back is that thought. What am I going to want to play in the future? And yeah, there's emulation, but not for like all systems like 3DS stuff or
Well, there is.
Derek, can you work on that for us then?
So that's again yeah. This is the same thing. I'm working towards. I'm waiting to find an optimal 3DS hack. And there's a few out there, but you got to jump through some hoops. So I'm waiting for that whole system just to kind of finalize, and then it'll get easier as more people get into it. But yeah, again, anything that is easily emulatable, that's the stuff that I'm trimming, right? So Xbox 360, I have a lot of attachment to that because that was the system that got me back into gaming. I have a lot of fun on that system, so I don't want to. I trim the stuff that I'm really not interested in. But if I have any kind of vague interest in, I'm keeping it because you can't really emulate 360 stuff that easily. Newer stuff is harder. Old stuff is easier, so that's why the old stuff is easier for me to let go.
I could literally sell 90% of my games and only keep the couple ones I have sentimental attachment to or were my original as a kid. The only reason I haven't sold the ones that are on my shelf here out of like 500 games is I haven't had time to play them. Like, I want to try out these games, haven't had time to try them, so they just sit on the shelf.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem. Otherwise, they'd be gone.
And the other thing I'm doing is I'm watching for games on, even if I'm not going to emulate them, I'm watching for digital sales. So like the Dark Cloud series on PS2, I have them physically on PS2, but they go for, 30, 40, $50, whatever it is. They went on sale digitally on PS4 for $8 a piece. So I spend $16 to have them digitally, and then I can sell the physicals for 40, 50. I'm essentially paying for it, and I get more money back out of it. And I'm not losing that game. I can still play it. Even if I never play the digital version, I've never lost.
Say, and then you never play it, and it doesn't matter because it's not much money.
Exactly. So, yeah. Anything else?
I gave you. Are you going to talk dollar amounts here as well, or is that wait until the end, or what are you doing here?
We can. I mean, I'm not adverse to it. So, what do you want to know? I don't have.
Your father-in-law asked you what we thought we were going to make. You were going to sell there.
Yeah.
And I remember making a prediction, and I think you kind of blew it out of the water.
Do you want to remind people your prediction was?
So at first,
you talked about your prediction, first. Prediction. What was your prediction?
Yeah, so
let's go with that.
Do you want to give your idea of how much you were bringing too? Because that influenced my prediction as well, right?
Okay, so hold on. Let me pull up my spreadsheet, Derek.
You also sent me it in Twitter as well at 10:30 the night before you were doing the show. Want me to read that off, or you want to read it off, or?
I just got it right here. Okay, so my final total. Again, this isn't completely accurate because I didn't add some things. But my final sticker value final total was $31,325. Now that doesn't include some game guides, my dollar bin, and action figures that I brought. So add another.
How much inventory he brought, and
you had that much value.
I had that much on the table. Yeah, that much stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Right?
But that's
crazy,
also included.
Right?
That's including the Django console.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Couldn't remember, but that's still even without the Django console. That's still a lot, right?
That's crazy.
If we had that stuff all in the bins on the side and said, "Bill, can you watch this for 10 minutes?" Would you have thought that that's how much money you were watching? No, it wouldn't. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
So before the show, when he had told me that amount, his father-in-law just said, what do you think he's going to sell? And I said, just based on how much you bring, how much space you've got, and it being a Toronto show, I don't know for sure, but judging based on Barry and maybe a little more, I would guess $4,000 is what he's going to sell. And that's kind of based on what we sold in the past and stuff, percentage-wise. That was my guess. And when we were walking out of the show, we thought your total was right around that.
Yeah.
But then you added it up, and there must have been some stuff we missed writing down.
Yeah, there definitely was some stuff we missed writing down. Because I remember some of my big deal we didn't put in.
But I added that after.
You added it in after. We added up all the e-transfers.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there must have been stuff missed that just didn't get right.
What about my predictions?
What was your prediction?
What was your prediction? You got one?
Let's hear it all. Let's hear all the predictions.
Yeah. Just while listening to yours' last shows or shows leading into this, and you were saying like no holds barred, everything's coming, pulling all and going to the shelves, loading it all.
And that's real good for the audio listeners.
The supermarket sweep. That's yeah.
I kind of thought you were gonna make 10,000.
I was hoping for that. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Joe, did you have any predictions going in or no?
You already know stuff now.
You know now, obviously.
Yeah,
but
beforehand.
Not as much as you made.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay.
That's going based on what you've done in the past, or?
No, I'm just based on what I've seen or heard from the Barry show. I don't know. I figured maybe half of what you brought home.
Okay. Yeah.
All
reasonable.
Downplay it that way. If you always make more, it's like holy bonus, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was surprised at how much you made.
I was too. Obviously, anything I made, I was happy with. Like I said, we've all had those shows where Bill was saying we make $50 or $40 at the end of the day. I was definitely hoping not for that. At the beginning of the show, when I'm doing $4 e-transfers, I'm like, oh great, here we go.
From the dollar bin, and he took 2 of the things he was going to buy and put them back.
Yeah,
it was $6, and he had to drop it down to 4 because 6 was too much. Oh, there's no games in these Saturn cases? No, I don't want them for $1 each.
Oh man, what a guy. So, same thing. Before we went to the show, my father-in-law, same thing. How much are you going to make? I said, if I made less than 4,000, excuse me. I said, if I made less than 4, I'd be upset. Because I think the amount of work that I put into this, I would hope for at least 4. So, we calculated it up. And then on the way for dinner, I was counting cash, adding up the, oh no, we didn't add up the e-transfers until we got to the restaurant. But, the final total was what, 6,200 and some? 218 or something like that?
I thought you remembered. I don't remember.
Well, you had the number. It was 6,200 is something. So,
yeah,
definitely more. More than I would have accepted as a minimum. Like I said, the 4,000. Secretly, I was with Bill. I was like, I hope I make 10. I was really hoping to make 10.
It's not bad divided 4 ways, right, guys?
No, of course.
It's not bad if you divide it 4 ways.
Josh is making $1,000 an hour. Like the top call girl in Vegas ain't making that much.
Now I know who my competition is.
$1,000 an hour, and you didn't have to touch any.
Yeah, that's not counting his prep work, though.
Yeah,
it's a lot of hours there.
Yeah. So,
some of that'll carry over the next show, especially if you do it sooner than later. Your prices won't change too much, but
yeah. And
we should do Barry.
I'm the vendor who will go through everything again and double check every price and make sure that I'm on point.
That's what I do too.
So
it's a lot of time.
And then reprice as needed. So yes, I was very happy with that. Based on what Derek also told me, he said you bring it all and you sell a third. So the entire time I was calculating, I was like, what's a third of this? What's a third? So in total, like a third would have been like between $8,000 and $9,000 or $10,000, something like that.
Well, that was just an estimate going off the top of my head. I didn't double check my spreadsheets or anything,
but based on that, I didn't even sell a third of my stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
But packing everything back up, we noticed it.
Yeah. Some of the big stuff was gone.
Noticed.
Yeah. It was nice to have some of the big stuff.
Not those TVs, though.
Nah, next time. One time. I'm waiting for Chris Roberts to make an offer.
Yeah, he's not taking your price.
And shipping from Canada.
No, when he comes up to visit Bill, he's going to take it back with him.
Yeah.
Carry on.
But he will offer $5.
Yes, I'm sure he would.
And you will take it.
So it would sit real nice beside SpongeBob there.
His 2 SpongeBobs.
He's got 2 of them? Okay, I knew he had 1. I didn't know he had 2.
Yeah, he just found another one for $5.
Okay. I thought that was his first one. I didn't know he had one already. Or I forgot.
That one doesn't have VHS or DVD in it, though, right? It's just a TV?
Right. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. Don't worry about it.
Compared to my in-console DVD player.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, we almost should have hooked that sucker up if we had power. We knew we had power there. Have it running too. That would have.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have put someone over the edge.
We would have. I didn't want to advertise that we had power because not everyone did have power. So I didn't want to say, oh, suddenly we have power and then we're causing issues. People say, how come he has power and no one else does power? So it's just kind of.
Yeah, power is supposed to be an extra charge by the hall. So.
So I wasn't.
Whatever you want to call it.
I kept it on the DL if we needed to charge our phones or whatever, but I didn't.
again,
I didn't notice if anyone else had
battery
anything
or
plugged in,
something.
but
Yeah.
there was that play area had power, but I didn't ask about it.
Yeah. I'm sure if we really like needed to test something, you walk over to the play area and plug it into a plug over there and be like, hey, it works. So yeah. Lots of money. It's going off to things. Make things better, hopefully. So
Make things better.
make things better.
New boat.
I got pardon?
New boat. Cabin cruiser.
New boat, yeah. What was it?
Vet bills soon, I'm sure.
I
right?
had vet. Yeah, I still got vet bills to pay. I got dental bills to pay. Man, it's just pulls. All of a sudden, the money just going slowly away.
What was it, that one Barry show where you had a really good show and then you had a car issue? Like immediately take all that money.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That was my bet. That was my best show up to that point. I think I made $2,000 on that show, and I was like, oh, made lots of money, $2,000. Then within the week, it was like, yep, car repairs, $2,000.
That's why you gotta get the money separate.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, I do have a whole other list of other things to talk about if you want to get into that.
Sure.
If Bill and Joe also want to stick around.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
All right.
When you have Haji and Fraser on, do they stay for the whole show?
Mostly. Sometimes they bow it a little early.
Oh, see?
Depends on.
Oh, we're going to stay longer than those guys.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
there you go.
Yeah, we have to go back and check, and I'm pretty sure they stayed for at least 3 hours once.
Oh.
And they played online video games with us once too. So there's that. Twice.
There's a new
Twice.
episode of Mandalorian on today, so
He's got
going here.
things to do here.
Well, I've been talking about I'm recording VHS tapes, digitizing VHS tapes. I counted up recently, and I'm over 540 tapes digitized now in the last, I don't know, 3 months or so, 3-4 months.
Bill, you're slacking. How many you got?
I never considered doing this like assembly line business that Derek does, where he just rips the entire tape, doesn't worry about it, moves on to the next tape. So I definitely don't have storage for that. What kind of storage are we talking about that someone would need, Derek, to rip this many tapes?
Well, I can check that folder. It has like 500 of them in it. It is currently 2.38 terabytes.
You're cutting out on my end. I don't know if he's cutting out on everybody else's.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear me?
2.3.
2.38 terabytes.
Yeah, I don't get that.
That's not that hard. I mean, that's even mirrored too, right? It's got a double, it's got 2 drives that back each other up. So if one fails, I've got one, and it's inside of a network server, which is more money, but you could just put this on a USB drive.
Bill, all you have to do is spend
USB
money.
Drive.
All you have to do is spend money.
Or you record one.
Spend money.
You can record one, grab what you want from it, and get rid of the source file. If you're keeping the tapes, you don't care about the file. I'm getting rid of the tapes after. That's part of the reason why I'm doing it this way. Because I'm not keeping 700 tapes. I'm just not. Like, you just look right here, this little pile right here of VHS tapes in these cardboard boxes. That's one pile. That's all the ones I'm done, and the ones back there I'm not done yet. So it's ridiculous. But I've found somebody who's willing to take them all off me and pay me less than $1 each, but more than 50 cents each. So I'm happy with that.
Cool.
So Derek, are you burning them like to your computer hard drive directly?
Yeah. I'm recording them to a video file. So I'm using OBS Studio to record, which is the same thing we use to stream video games. Record it to a file, and then once I've got that file on the drive, I can go through it and use video editing software to cut out all the ads, which is what I'm primarily doing with them.
So these are
I've
just
been
like
thinking
6-hour files, you mean? Like
pretty much, yeah. Like it has an automatic timer. You can set how long you want it to record for. I usually set it to 6 hours, 45 minutes, because I found some of them are a little longer than 6 hours. So I just set it to 6 hours, 45 minutes. If I have to trim it later, I use a program to trim it off. But most of the time, it's not a big deal. And when you got blue, like your VCR typically will go to blue, right? When there's static or nothing there. And that blue doesn't take up a lot of space on a video file. It's basically all just optimized out. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of work whenever I get around to doing more of them. And as it is right now, I've been like playing them as I get time. I'll do like 10 tapes where I just skip through them, write down what's on them in a list of a text file. Eventually I want to do a spreadsheet, but then I'll have what's on that tape and whether there's any commercials worth doing. And the odd time I'll find one that's really good and I want to edit that one right away, grab those commercials and upload them. Now I do have over 300 commercials edited and waiting on YouTube, either scheduled. I have it scheduled out to the end of May now to release one commercial every other day. And I've got like 200 more that are just waiting for me to give them a title and a description.
Jesus.
So I have no shortage of content. I'm like, maybe I should be releasing a video every day. I don't know. Because I'm never going to get through them at this rate. But I also don't want to get into a state where I'm behind and I got to do more and don't have time. So,
see, I don't think Chris Roberts will come to Canada to visit me. It will come to Canada to take a crowbar to Derek's knees.
I'm scheduled till June. I've got until middle of June. I've got commercials ready every other day.
Easy.
Bill, what are you doing with all your tapes?
I typically don't have that much home recorded stuff. I'll process it mainly by just watching them, and then I'll write a note for each tape what's on there, and then someday I'll come back and just digitize one at a time each spot I find interesting, or a clip of a movie or something like that. I've just didn't even consider ripping an entire tape and just continually doing that. But I don't have the hard drive space to do it anyway. So I'm more just collecting, actual, theater movies that from back in the day that I like, that look interesting, or I haven't seen, or is not released on any other format, and keeping a small collection that way. And the collection is pretty full, so if something good comes in, I got to pull something out. It's got to go.
Yep. It's a healthy way to do it.
Some retail VHS tapes I should show you and see if any of them interest you, because I pretty much have no interest in those ones, and I got about 20 of them now that just every time I'm buying a set of recorded ones, sometimes they come with retail ones. I'm like, you want to just give me a better deal and I don't have to take those? And usually people are saying, no, I want all the VHS tapes gone. So
yeah. No, it's just I can't resist some of the old tapes. Have such great covers, such great artwork on it. It's just like miniature movie posters, like trading cards, and I collect them more for the visuals of having them.
Joe, what about you? How's your VHS looking?
Well, I've just gone through it recently. It's good if you like looking at spines on your shelves. For me, it's just a lack of space. I mainly have, most of mine is all store-bought stuff.
Yeah.
Again, vintage covers, it's just like looking at vinyl artwork or something. It's just beautiful art, right?
Yeah.
My main thing is I want to digitize I've got like a couple banker boxes of it's either TV movies or wrestling that I've taped.
Yeah.
And I've digitized some of them, but I was doing it as I was watching it and then cutting stuff out piecemeal just to save. I'm afraid my computer blowing up when I'm trying to edit these massive 6-hour files. So I'm not sure if it can actually handle it. So that was my big concern. I was going to ask Derek about that, but I guess maybe I might try doing a straight 6-hour record and see what happens.
Yeah, at least try one of them and see what it's like.
I picked up another VCR, one model up from the current one that I was using, but it'd probably be easier if I just burn them from if I could, VHS the DVD and then rip the DVD later.
Yeah.
I'm like Dirk. I just want them ripped and I want them out.
Yeah, I've got 3 VCRs running all day, every day.
It's like those old porn stores.
Yeah.
The porn tapes all going.
Yeah.
4 hours.
He's the duplication house himself.
I'm worried my good VCR is going to die, though. I'm worried I'm going to kill it
too.
slowly.
Like, I like my VCR. I don't want to burn it out.
Well, this guy's done a good 200 tapes, and it's holding in there. And I don't know how used it was before, but the guy I got it from, like I got it for free from the lady I bought the tapes from. He had a collection of like 700 tapes, and I wouldn't doubt that a lot of them were recorded with this VCR.
Jeez.
Have you cleaned the heads at all on it, or
that one I have not cleaned, other than just a head cleaning tape, but I haven't done it manually on that guy. Yeah, it's a champ. It's a JVC, SVHS player. Exactly like that one that I saw on Facebook and almost bought a second one of, but I missed out on it. It's too far away.
Rats.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have you know, I bought some VHS today.
What?
Ooh.
I paid for some VHS. You're not going to see it right now, but just put that out there. Retail stuff, not commercial stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but you were very vocal against the VHS movement.
I was, and then I was at Value Village today, and I saw. I'm like, oh, that looks cool.
So this is for your collection. This isn't to sell.
I don't know. I might sell it too. I might. I'm gonna pull a gamer alley here.
First.
Yeah.
Pull a gamer alley.
where are you going to store? Where are you going to put these, Josh? If you keep them,
I don't know. They're just
He
sitting
made
on
some
a
shelf space, right? He made
Yeah,
some
yeah.
shelf
I got some space. I'll put it behind the games. You'll never see them. I'll forget they're there. No, actually, the one thing I saw was a cartoon tape that I had when I was a kid that I gave away, and I saw that. I'm like, oh, I did want that back, so I bought it, and that just turned the scales when I saw it. I'm just like, oh, what about that one over there? Oh, what about that one? Oh no! Oh no!
So Josh is going to be on the midnight flashing or collectors this
One
week,
day.
or what?
One day.
Right on. I tell you, it used to be even just a few months ago, if you went to a thrift store, like I could make the VHS the last part of the thrift store to look at. And now, as I'm getting there, people are already looking in through the VHS, which never happened before.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's Midnight is Flashing. It's taking over the world, guys. Check them out on YouTube, by the way. Right, Joe?
nope. I got better things to do.
My good pal Joe.
It's a great name. I love it. I love midnight slashing.
Yeah, that's a good name. And I'll be honest, I'm jealous of that name, and I'm jealous of Planet of the Tapes. Like both are like perfect names. I could only dream to come up with something that good.
Not so special.
No, yeah, exactly. So, well, what
else you got, Derek?
I actually did a project the other day too. I did I took a VHS tape that was actually one of the first sets of VHS tapes that I picked up, which was from this guy who has a whole bunch of recordings of stuff recorded in Chinese. And I'm just like, I'll take these tapes. They're free. He's got them on the side of the road. I'll grab them. Some of them were left out in the rain, so I let them dry in my garage for weeks and months, and they're okay. Seems fine. They weren't playing great on my old VCR, but they work fine now. I don't know what it is, but so I grabbed one of those that I'd already recorded, and I thought, there's nothing good on this. It's like a Chinese soap opera of like ancient medieval times. I don't care about this. So I took the tape, opened it up, took a pair of pliers and cut out a little section where I put in a battery-powered set of LEDs, and I ran the LEDs throughout the tape and glued them in. And then before that, I rewound the tape to halfway, so you got each spool is about halfway. Ran these lights, put the tape back together, and it looks like an original tape, but on the back I've got a button you press, and all the LED lights come on. So it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So my wife had seen that on like Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and we thought we'd give it a shot. So it turned out pretty good. I would show, but where is it? I can share it or whatever, send you guys a picture, but that's not very good for audio listeners.
Nah, fuck them.
Where is my share anyway? I'll present. It's not share.
Yeah.
All right, which screen am I sharing there? Chrome tab of this guy. There we go. So there's the tape with some LED lights in it.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's just glued around the outside of the back of the tape. I have another picture of that, but of course I'm sharing this and this is going in, so I want to stop sharing before I exit and go back to my photos, because who knows what's there. Could be like
his NASCAR photos are there.
Yeah, pictures of my kids or who knows what. So we're gonna share this guy, which will show you the inside of the front of the tape, so you can kind of see how it's made. So just hot glued to crap, wound back and forth. These little springs keep the tape reels like backwards, so they're not touching the front of the case unless they're in a VCR and being pushed up. So there's lots of room in there to add lights. I discovered as I was doing it.
Is this USB powered, you said?
No, it's not. It's battery powered. Just
what?
A little crazy bins find that I found. That's probably really annoying on the microphone, but
that's great.
Crinkling a bag.
Some great audio.
I've got another one here that's just white lights that came in the same package from Crazy Bins. So like, there's some good video too. That's the equivalent, exact same little package that came. It would have been an Amazon return. So that's where the lights that are in it came from.
Come on, I put your front and center so we can see this.
Okay. So here's a little package with LED lights, and it came with one that was white lights and one that was the colored ones that I put in the tape. So I've got the white ones left if I want to do another project with another tape or not. Haven't decided, but usually what my wife had seen these people doing this with was horror tapes, horror movies, and then they'll make their own little label for it, or they'll use a real tape. I don't know for sure, but I could always put some label on it for some movie if I want to.
Yeah.
Especially with the colors like that, it might have to be like a kid's movie or something. I don't know. I can't think of what else.
That's an expo item.
Yeah, maybe.
Make a couple of those.
Yeah. It was probably not worth the time for that, though. I don't know. How much would you even charge for that? Print out a little label and put it on?
Yeah. Make it out of old tapes that are garbage.
It was just the effort to figure out how to get it in there, but yeah.
But you've only done it once already, so you already know how to do it. So now you can just production line.
I could do it better next time, yeah.
That's what kids are for.
My daughter loves doing crafts, but I don't trust her to do a good job. She's only 6. Bill, you've got kids that are about the right age for that kind of stuff. They could do a really good job. They could bake cookies.
Young enough to be disinterested and old enough to be, horrified by it. So,
So you missed it, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
you missed the window of where they're like interested and helpful.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah, a little bit more than 6, and you're right in the pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it better, crack. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you got some more topics? I got some more topics. I got lots more.
Of course.
Mostly movies, but.
Hold on. If we're doing arts and crafts, I have an arts and crafts.
You got an arts and crafts thing?
I got arts and crafts.
Other than your display cases that you fixed up, you did a pretty good job on those.
Oh, thank you. So this is something I've been working on for Derek. I know you've seen part of this because you were over at my house. And you saw part of it, but now it's finished. And I posted some of it unfinished on Facebook on Mario Day.
Oh, okay. That gives it away. Now I know what you're talking about. So I'll just fill some time while he's grabbing it.
Yeah.
Again, so useful for the audio listeners.
Let me put this. We'll do this.
Yeah, you're going to present?
I'm presenting. It's not glued on, so I got to hold it. Everyone can see it, though.
Yeah. Don't drop it, please.
Yeah.
So for everyone who's audio listeners, he is presenting a perler bead creation of Mario from Mario 3, and he's got it on a is that like a
just a canvas? Just
a canvas, but it's yellow. Canvas. You painted it?
I painted it all, yeah.
So it looks like the Mario 3, and it's got Mario 3 written across it. and it looks like the cover of the game. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, good job.
All hand painted.
How you gonna glue that? Some hot glue, or you trust
That's
that?
That's my next problem. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because hot glue is good, but when it lets go, it's just
It
gone.
sucks. Yeah. I think I'm gonna put a piece of foam in behind it and then glue it to the foam so it sits better.
Okay.
Because perler beads always bow a little bit when you melt them. So
Yeah, they do.
that was the worst part, was trying to melt all those beads, because I did the first pass. I'm not arts and craftsy, by the way. It took me probably 4-5 hours to do the perler bead itself, and then it took me an hour to iron it together properly.
Jeez.
Because I ironed it, and then I waited for it to cool, and then I went to lift, and then half the perler beads came up with it. And I spent the next hour sitting at the counter with tweezers, putting piece by piece by piece back in, and I didn't have my layout underneath, so I had to reference my card and count beads. It was just it was a nightmare. So
yeah. My wife irons them when we make them. We haven't done it in a few years now, but
little
we've
ones.
We've done like a
so
long.
easy.
We've done a big Zelda sword.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's broken now, but we did a Zelda sword and a decent sized Zelda shield before. Yeah. We were going to start selling them at the swaps at one time years ago, but it's just not worth it. It's way too much work.
The effort and monetary value not worth.
Yeah, and there was a lot of competition out there a few years ago too for those.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about you guys? Any arts and crafts? As Bill looks around,
just twirls around his chair. Bill's got a repair job. That's kind of a craft, right?
That's true.
Oh, that's
Or is that still top secret? Can't say it till you gotta watch your video.
No, that's out. That's out. The comedy special.
I haven't seen it yet.
So.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
God damn it, Derek. Yeah, I
thought you were a fan.
A new Betamax, which
is that it there? Did you point to it? Is that
really?
Okay.
Which I fell in love with immediately, and it was working great the whole first night I had it. And then when I went to install it in this layout, the first tape I put into it, it just ate up right away and froze up, and I couldn't get the tape out, and there was wrestling going on, which I shouldn't have done, but I was impatient and it was this tape right here.
What was the culprit? What's the name of it?
Make a craft of that, right?
Gotta put some LED lights in it.
Stick?
Yeah, it's a Burt Reynolds movie. He directed this movie too.
Oh.
And he ruined my Betamax machine with it. I thought if I could just get it out far enough where I could just get to the tape and cut the tape, it'd be fine. Which ultimately is what happened, but I think I just wrestled too hard with it and something got knocked loose in there. And devastated. I was devastated because there's no one to repair these. There's a Betamax website that's pretty big out there, and they take in machines for repair, but like minimum repair cost is $300. Not to mention what the shipping would be. It'd be extraordinary.
Yeah.
But I thought, what the hell? Like this JVC here, it had an issue, and I actually managed to fix it just by opening the hood and poking around. So I thought, I might as well just try poking around with this. So
nothing to lose.
Yeah, well, you can make it worse, I guess.
Yes, but it already doesn't work. So
once you start taking those gears apart and getting down deep, and springs start flying this way and that way, it gets bad, gets dicey. But I took the hood off and started poking around and made a video of it. And well, here it is installed. So something good must have happened. Check out that video on Joe's favorite channel, Midnight's Flashing.
I'm gonna check it out. I gotta watch Q Dogs first, and then that. Sorry, there's release
that's
first.
What everyone says.
Yeah, there's release first.
No, it didn't. I don't think so.
Yeah, I thought it did.
No way. Anyways,
don't make me check.
It's a fun video. It's a fun video. You'll have fun with it. I'm a daring video producer. I'm willing to go where other video producers won't go. Like where they edit shit out, to make it entertaining and quick. I leave it all in. So it's painful.
Who cares about entertaining?
That's right.
It's real. It's visceral. Yeah.
I lived through it. You're living through it as a viewer. So There's the promo for that video. Joe saw it already. He loved it.
He loved it.
I saw the Q Dogs. All right, guys. I'm sorry. I got to bounce.
Oh, it's all good, man. Thank you for.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Josh, it was fun doing the show.
Thank you for your help again.
Anytime you need a hand.
Absolutely. Well, October's coming, so.
Yep. Well, you know what? I'll probably be there then.
Awesome. I'll get an extra table. Bring your stuff.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll see. See if Bill wants to split a table.
You got a solid probably from Joe and an I don't know from me.
Promising. Very promising.
Replies, right?
Very
All right,
true.
boys. Good talking to you. Bill, see you on Friday.
Yep.
All right, boys. Take care.
See ya.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming. Oh, what is this layout? Yuck. Oh. Perfect.
Bill's not even there.
I like it.
Keep it. It's not so special.
That's horrible.
Your video did come out first, Bill. Your video came out first. I checked.
I told you so.
But I think I have notifications set up for theirs and not yours.
Maybe. Of course, you should.
I'm
for
not
the
sure.
Q Dogs.
I'm not sure which one.
You know, Midnight is Flashing is a smaller channel, so it doesn't get as many views pointing at it, which is frustrating. But I'm happy with these videos. They were a fun little series. Of course, I'm happy how it all turned out. So, hope more people can check it out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I definitely will. I can't wait. Because I've opened up a few VCRs lately, and 2 of them went not great, and 2 of them went great. So
it's so like this JVC. It was like the carriage was stuck like looking with the door half open like this.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't take a tape. It just was stuck like this. And it's so weird. Like you think, well, that's obviously it's got to be a technician to fix that. It's going to be, you know, how am I going to figure that out? Actually, you know, modern equipment has service menus. This has the JVC does have a service menu, but you needed a specific JVC tech module to plug into it to get what the service codes are. So I couldn't even do that. But once I took the hood off and just started poking around, there was just 2 little latches on the carriage that just didn't seem right. And they were open instead of being closed. So I just kind of pushed them and they click close and then everything just went away it went. So it's like, oh, yeah, that was good. That worked.
That's random.
Yeah. So take the hood off, poke around in there. You never know.
Yeah. My Sony, that's what I did, and I got it working. It was just ejecting almost every tape I put in it. I opened it up. I pulled like the carriage out separate, and I just lubricated everything. It was lubricated wherever they had some grease there before. I put on some new white grease, and I put it back together, and it started working better. I've only had 1 tape now that it wouldn't take recently, and that tape worked fine in one of my other VCRs, so I'm not sure what it is. It was at the beginning of the tape, and it looked like it thought it wasn't. So it kicked it right out right away. And that was the problem, was it kicking it out all the time. So I've only had that once so far, and I've done like probably 50 tapes on that VCR. So I can't complain. But I did kill 2 VCRs in the process of fixing other ones.
They are very delicate in there. Like they say, any little bit of debris in the gears will stop it from working and go into reverse mode. Just protect itself kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. One of them has become my rewinder and tape cleaning one. So that's what it's doing now. It was a Sanyo anyway. It was just my wife's old one from college. So yeah, not valuable. I'd still love to fix it. There was a head on eBay for $9. I'm like, I could buy that for $9. Shipping's $30. So I asked Chris Roberts, how much is the shipping? He's like $5. Like,
yeah.
Buy a whole other VCR for that.
Well, that's what he said. You can't find a VCR for $10. I'm like, well, no, not really. But then later on, I found a free one and another free one. Josh went and picked up those 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, the shipping from the States is just devastating.
Yeah. or to
I
the
just
States.
want one VHS tape. A $2 VHS tape is $25 in shipping.
Yeah. Or I can go drive 45 minutes and get it for $8. Yeah. Well, I had a B movie night with some friends again.
Okay.
My previous coworker Albert invited us over, and we went over and we watched Cocaine Bear.
Oh, yeah. This is on my Plex. I haven't seen it yet.
It was pretty fun.
Okay.
The copy, it was the day after it came out, he organized this for, and he's like, hopefully we can find that movie. And I'm like, I don't know if you're going to find that movie. Well, I found the movie, but it had ads in it that were added on by whoever ripped it out of the theater, like recorded it with a camera in the theater. And it full on has like, visit somethingcasino.com, go check out our casino. And then partway through the movie, it stops. And there's a full-on ad with a guy saying, go check out something casino. That happens 2 or 3 times throughout the movie. But that honestly just helped the corniness of the movie. So we're okay. It was appropriate.
Perfect.
So we watched that movie. And then after that, we watched Redneck Zombies, which is made by the same people that made Toxic Avenger. Or at least Toxic Avenger?
I've heard of it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, Trauma, yeah. So it was made by them as well. So Redneck Zombies is 1989. It is really, really bad. But like, Toxic Avenger bad. Maybe not quite on that level. But yeah.
So this Cocaine Bear, you watched a cam version?
Yep. It was the day after it was out. My buddy was ready to just rent it. He was going to do it.
I don't get watching cam versions. I don't get it.
It wasn't that bad. Cam versions have gotten way better. Cameras are way better than they used to be. Now, when the guy covers the lens because you can tell security is walking by, I mean, we just started laughing more.
Okay.
If it was a serious movie, that would be pretty crappy. But first movie I remember ever watching cam was the South Park movie. And that, again, it doesn't really detract from it. It's already a South Park movie. There's people standing up and walking by. You see their shadows. And...
Yeah. That's like all the movies I watched in Africa that all had VCDs. They're all cams. Yeah. You're going to all see people standing up and walking around. Yeah. By the way, the copy of Cocaine Bear on Plex, Bill, is not a cam. So you can enjoy.
Yeah. Mine. I have one of each. You have to double check which one you're playing because Plex supports multiple versions, multiple files. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I watched some more things. Should I keep going, or you guys got some stuff to add?
No. How big's your list?
It's pretty long.
Okay. Well, let's go. Let's go quick.
Okay. I watched Swiss Army Man. Army Man.
All right. We can slow down a little bit for this one. Let's slow down a little bit.
That was pretty good. That was better than I expected. Have you heard of that, Bill?
No.
So there's a guy who's trapped on a deserted island. And he's about to hang himself, and a body washes up on the shore, but he doesn't know if this person's alive or dead. He just stops hanging himself barely and goes to check on this body, and it's clearly a dead person. But then the body starts, which was Daniel Radcliffe, and the body starts like just doing things that you don't expect, like letting out farts that are just lasting forever, and then it seems like it's communicating with him with farts. And then the body, what did else to do? He needed water, and he like hit the body, and water just started pouring out of the mouth, just pouring out. And he's like, this is actually clean water, and takes a drink, and it helps him get that motivation to try a little more. And then it just keeps spiraling from there. And the whole time you're like, is this really happening, or is he imagining it? And that just continues throughout the whole movie, and it gets more and more sensational throughout the movie. It's pretty good.
Literally Swiss Army Man. It's a man.
That's a Swiss Army knife, basically. Yeah. He's like hammering things in with the head, like everything you can imagine. It's pretty good. Yeah.
And it's literally Daniel Radcliffe playing a dead guy for the whole movie. Like,
yeah, he did a good job. Did a really good job. Oh yeah, the farts. With the farts, he turns into basically a jet ski. He rides the body to another island.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty sensational, but
it'd be fun to watch with friends.
Yeah. Good. I watched it with my wife, and she did not understand.
I watched it while I was doing dishes at home, so yeah. I don't remember what else I was doing. Dishes, laundry. I also was recording some tapes, and just one of them popped up with Romancing the Stone.
Oh, I love this movie.
From 1984. I'm pretty sure what's his name in it is the only reason why I really watched it.
Michael Douglas?
Yeah. I saw him. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll give this movie a chance. So I watched it from my recording through Plex, because I have those all in my Plex. They're not shared out to you guys, but they're in Plex anyway. So I was watching on my phone through Plex, and it was kind of cool to watch this movie that had been recorded off VHS from somebody years ago. And I'm sitting there watching it on this recorded back to my computer. Perfect. Anyway, so I watched that. It was actually pretty decent. Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas, and Danny DeVito among some of the people in it. It was
Kathleen Turner was a stone cold fox in that movie.
Yeah,
her legs, man. Oh my god.
Now, have you seen the sequel, Jewel of the Nile?
No, I have not.
You got to watch it. Yeah. It's more of that. Funny, those were two of the VHS that I saw at the store today. Was Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile, and I considered it.
Covers.
They do have great covers. Yeah, they have absolutely great covers. Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know there was a sequel at all.
Yeah.
Speed.
They're both on my
cover.
Plex. They're both on my Plex.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta
in HD
in 1080. Yeah, should be.
Okay.
Ooh.
I probably haven't seen it in HD. So yeah.
Yeah, you see those legs in HD.
There you go. Turn the lights down low for that.
Yeah, Kathleen Turner, she held up. She's doing pretty good nowadays too.
Is she?
No,
I haven't. I
looked at a picture and I don't think so. Unless she changed in the last year, she's looking a little rough.
It'll be
also
soon enough.
Of the VHS tapes that are retail that I have. The 2 days after Raquel Welch died, I got a tape of The Legend of Waxfar Woman from 1987. That one's got a pretty good cover on it. I sent you my eBay listing, Bill.
I had that tape.
Did you?
That was part of my big hoard of tapes I got a year or so ago. I think I watched it and it was so lousy I just turfed it. But looking at that cover again, I'm like, ah.
See, that might need to go in the bill pile and remove it off eBay. It's not selling anyway, but
it's too hard for us to sell tapes in Canada.
Yeah, shipping kills us. Well, after that movie comes my Nicolas Cage watches.
Ooh, okay.
Are we getting into Cage movies here?
We can.
Or should I?
Bill, Bill, you got some Cage movies?
Other stuff.
No.
Are you a Cage fan? Let's start there. Are you a Cage fan?
I mean, he was great in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but
he was barely in that movie.
Perfect amount of Cage in that movie.
Well, then if I've got a list of movies for you, no. There's a couple movies that he's credited on, and we're like, we're not counting those to our list.
And that was one of them.
That was one of them. That's actually the first movie on my list that I watched.
Okay.
Here,
well,
I watched
let me throw a movie at you, and then I can bail so you guys can do your Cage segment.
Okay. Sure.
And Derek would probably be talking about this at some point because it is the latest movie featured on the Video Archives podcast by Tarantino, Roger Avery, and Gala Avery. Is The Great Waldo Pepper, which I had seen as a kid on a small CRT TV. It was like a weekend, so it would have been PBS playing it, or I do have been PBS. Yeah, remember in the old days on the weekend, these channels would just play old movies all day long.
Yep.
It was something like that. So this was I didn't have a VHS tape of it. I didn't of course didn't want to rent it from any service, but I did find a streaming site that had it. Nice big widescreen stream of it. And that's how you got to watch this movie, because there's tons and tons of aerial footage. It's set in the 30s of like these pilots, these barnstormers who just got out of World War One. All these pilots, they needed something to do, so they were setting up air circuses, and just traveling across the Midwest. They would land in a town and then offer free plane, or not free, I mean, like they would charge for plane rides all day long, and that's how they make their money, doing barnstorming, doing tricks and aerial tricks. And as it went along, their tricks had to get hairier and hairier and more depth-defying and sexier. Wind walking started. And this movie, a big thing is no plane had yet done an outside loop. So it's where your undercarriage is on the inside of the loop and your head is on the outside.
Yeah.
Totally go. So you need tons and tons of lift and power to get back over the top going the outside way. Not to mention the G's. Anyways, starring Robert Redford, Susan Sarandon's in it. And like I said, the aerial stuff is it's amazing. I couldn't see how they could make something like this nowadays, just with regulations and rules and safety guidelines and all that.
It would all be CG.
Exactly. There's a few of these aerial, like there's this one aerial stunt where the plane is promoting that they're coming to town. The air circus is coming to town. So he flies down Main Street, takes the plane right down Main Street, literal, light poles on either side of the wings. And I'm thinking that's got to be a crane shot, right? They just crane this in or something, or a model or something. But no, that's the real deal. The pilot actually went down and did that shot. And there's no models used. Everything was practical. It was all in the air. Redford was in the air. The wing walkers were real. It was all real, and it's just a marvel to watch. So that's called The Great Waldo Pepper. That was Redford's name, Waldo Pepper. And I totally recommend it. You can find it. You can rent it anywhere, Amazon or YouTube or anything like that. But if you search hard enough, you might be able to find a random stream.
It may end up on a Plex somewhere. Yeah.
Put it on a Plex. Yeah. For sure. So I was very happy that they named that as the movie this week to talk about, because I remembered it, but I'd only seen it on a little 4x3, pan and scan. So seeing, having an excuse or for someone to remind me to go check that movie out again and see it for real on a widescreen presentation. It's why that podcast is so good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the podcast too.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm very behind on it, but I am going through it.
Good. Cool. Yeah. Get some more of that. Get some of that stuff on Plex.
I put Dark Star on there. What are you talking about?
Did you?
It is. I liked it. It was actually good.
Dark Star was good. Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
Ridiculous in some ways, but good. Like
wholly ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen that before, and that that show got me to do it. So that was really good. I find I'm using this site called Flickster.
Mm-hmm.
There's other streaming sites that just don't have oddball old movies, but this Flickster site, we're not affiliated, of course, with this dark site, but it gets all these old movies are on there, and in HD.
TOR, right?
The Flickster.tv.
Okay. I was just curious because there's another site that's called Flickster for like tracking your movies you've watched and stuff. And I keep thinking people are talking about that. But okay.
Right. Yeah. And there's like 4 or 5 different ones. There's like My Flixer and The Flixer. And I think it's the Flixster.tv is the one where I'm having all the good luck.
Okay.
And a little bonus one. I corralled my 19-year-old daughter and I said, it's movie night tonight. Stop what you're doing. I don't care what you're doing. You're coming down, forcing her to watch a movie with me. And so through Flixer, we found, I wanted to watch Paper Moon with her because that is a father-daughter movie like no father-daughter movie before.
Okay.
starring Ryan O'Neal and his real life daughter, Tatum O'Neal. And I can't remember how old she was for this movie, 7 or something. But she won the Academy Award for her performance in this movie. It's a Peter Bogdanovich movie, and it's just perfection. It's a really good movie. It's about this hustler who goes, again, cross-country hustling people for money. And he brings along this kid who may or may not be his daughter. And their interaction, and she's just crazy good in it for being a little kid. A lot of people know about this movie, though. But check it out if you haven't seen it in a while, called Paper Moon.
Never seen it, yeah.
No. It's black and white, but it is from the 70s.
Yep, 73. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Is that good?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll leave you with those recommendations.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Much appreciated.
Thanks again for having us. No one invites us on their podcast, so very happy to get an invite anytime we can get one. And we love you guys, so it's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for helping the show and taking your time to spend 2.5 hours with us. So, I mean, it's the longest SEC podcast you're going to get, right? So
there you go.
At least this month, right?
Yep.
Hey, we got one this month, so that's pretty good. We'll hope for one next month.
It's a month old, but
yeah,
we got it. That's all that matters, right?
It's there. It's finally there. And hey,
I've listened to it. It was good.
I don't remember for this one.
It was good. Yeah.
A story that I couldn't believe how well he crafted that story together. So I shit on him quite a bit, but I give him props for that story. He really crafted a good one for that episode.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. Good show.
Yep.
So, well, keep pumping them out if you can. That definitely moves right up to the top of the queue when they pop up. So,
yeah. Awesome.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, same for you guys. Keep the,
hey, we're there first of the month every month. Okay, we don't.
I'm the first viewer on YouTube every time.
Alrighty.
Another reason to keep posting it there.
It's one of our 2 views. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Just answer your damn comments, for Christ's sakes.
Fuck them
again.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
See ya.
Yep.
All right.
And then there were 2.
This next one will be short, maybe. I do have a lot to say, but you already pretty much said it all now that I remembered to listen back to our old one. Rumblefish.
Well, you didn't talk about Ridgemont High. You could talk about Ridgemont High.
I don't even remember. It was. Okay. I don't remember. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but not what I thought it was going to be. I think every time I hear Fast Time at Ridgemont High, I confuse it with what is it? Some record store movie like High Fidelity or one of those other ones. I forget for sure. But yeah, it was better than I expected. a lot of young boobs that I wasn't expecting. Like I'm wondering how old these girls were because they seem pretty young in a lot of these. But
yeah, they're probably.
It was a good movie with lots of interesting stories. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a decent movie.
Okay.
Better than I expected it to be because, yeah.
Okay. But doesn't count as a Nicolas Cage movie. You would agree?
Not at all. No, I already marked that in our list. That it's not. Rumblefish.
Okay, I want to hear your opinion of Rumblefish.
So everything you said was pretty much what I wrote down mine after we had talked, but because I didn't know the movie you were talking about, I didn't remember it until I listened back to our podcast. But my notes on it from before I listened to yours was black and white. They're trying so hard to be cool. They're trying to be artistic and stylized. They kept using the full name Rusty James so much it felt so forced.
Yeah.
Audio dubbing was really bad for people on there. Like when they're talking, it's like, what did they do? Record this all after the fact and dub over the audio badly? Mickey Rourke looks and sounds like a stoned Bruce Willis and a little Dana Carvey.
I didn't even know it was Mickey Rourke until the end of the movie.
I didn't until I remembered what movie this was, and you had said it was him.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Why?" This is ruining the movie. Should I say it?
I don't think anyone's gonna watch the movie, so go for it.
Why in the hell would a cop shoot someone that was unarmed stealing a fish?
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense at all. And that's like the traumatic ending to the movie. It's like, really? He stole a fish. Why are you? I understand this cop is looking for an excuse to shoot him. But that ain't still is gonna hold up in court.
It's not gonna fly. No.
I mean, maybe at the time this is set in, but still, come on. Stole a fish. Anyway, all right. So another Nicolas Cage movie. I think I actually watched it before those ones. I can't remember, but I watched Birdie.
Okay.
You have not seen it yet?
I haven't seen that one yet. No.
It's very weird. It's not a great story. Cage played a playboy, like a womanizer in that movie, and that's a common theme throughout his movies, I'm noticing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie. I mean, I don't even know if it's worth watching or not, but it's a weird movie. It's pretty cagey in some parts, but he's not really the main focus. He's the best friend of the guy who's weird, but he is the only one that...
That's a common theme in a lot of his earlier movies. He's the buddy. He's the friend. Yeah.
But in this one, the other guy doesn't talk very much.
Okay.
So, like, almost not at all for a lot of the movie. It's just a weird movie. It's also war focused, so it's weird that way as well. But I watched that one just before, I think, watching Racing the Moon, which is 1984 with what's his face?
Sean Penn. And the reason I know is because it's one of my Nicolas Cage movies that I watched.
Okay, there you go.
So let's have a discussion.
All right. So I have this written off. I have it written down here that Nicolas Cage could have played the exact same character as Birdie, but less mature than that. In Birdie, I think.
Okay.
Forget. Yeah, I think so. But the characters, they both young guys, womanizer, gets like I think both of them he screws it. No, I can't remember about Birdie now. Either way, they're just womanizer and almost the same guy, and then it also both of them have a focus on going to war as well.
Okay.
So it's just weird that they're that related and they were made in the same year.
Interesting. Okay.
1984.
Maybe I haven't got to that one yet because the next one on my list is Cotton Club.
Yeah, that is my next one. That's also made in 1984.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had a lot of 1984 movies. I haven't seen Cotton Club yet, so don't spill too much for it because I need to get into it.
So that one I have written. It's actually a good movie.
Okay, good. I was hoping for something, and the cast on it alone looks amazing.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
It's also I have written. It's more of Cage playing basically the same character, a screw up, pretty random in his behavior, and a troublemaker. He's not as much of a womanizer in this one. He's married to one woman, but he does marry her out of the blue, and that's just like a throwaway part of the story. It's like, I married her. It's weird. And his voice in that one is really weird. Really, really weird. Like trying too hard to have an accent, I think it was, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But good movie. It is a good movie.
Okay.
Yeah, and all the people in it help that a lot. But there's a lot of interesting stories happening at one time and they tie together kind of thing.
So it's funny that you say that because Racing with the Moon, did you like it? Did you like it at all?
I did. It was decent. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Birdie, I wouldn't bother watching if we weren't trying to watch all Nicolas Cage movies.
Yeah,
it was just weird.
Okay.
But
I was not a fan of Racing with the Moon. I fell asleep once watching it, and I had to go back the next day and watch it. I was like, ugh, let's get this over with. I don't know. It's again focused way more on Sean Penn than it did on Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage was kind of like just the side screw up guy that Sean Penn had to clean up his mess. I don't know. They're trying to make a connection between these kids are going to war and what are they going to do before they get there. I didn't really see the whole point of the movie though. Like there wasn't a whole lot to it. It was just kind of like,
yeah,
let's try to have fun before we go off to war and potentially don't come back. And then the consequences of that. So, but yeah, I wouldn't really say it wasn't good in like there wasn't really great Cage parts in it. Like it wasn't cagey in any way. It mostly focused on Sean Penn being sad the whole time, or emotionless. So, the most entertaining part of that movie that I saw was when Nicolas Cage is the con. They try to pull a pool con. That was interesting to watch. And then at one point earlier in the movie, they he goes on about he's going to war, he's going to fight the Japs. I'm never coming back, that kind of thing. Which is funny because later on in his life, he'd made a movie called Wind Talkers where he literally went to war and fought the Japs, and he didn't come back. So,
yeah, and Birdie is like literally if you took him and Sean Penn, and you put them as friends you put Nicolas Cage character is the same character, but he has a different friend earlier in his life. That could be Birdie, and then it could come back to after the war. Could be the rest of Birdie because Birdie is a two-part when they're young and when they're older, that kind of thing. So,
all right.
Yeah, they literally could tie the two movies together and have Nicolas Cage be the same guy. But Nicolas Cage talks a lot more in Birdie because the other guy doesn't talk much.
No.
So,
okay. All right.
Yeah, but it's still freaking weird. But it's good to watch because it's Nicolas Cage. But so the next one I watched was Peggy Sue Got Married.
Okay. The only one I managed to watch the past month was Racing the Moon. I was a little preoccupied.
Yeah, I did the opposite. I watched tons of movies, and because I thought we were going to record last week, I left it at that. So because we aren't, I watched one more the other day.
Okay.
So again, Nicolas Cage is a womanizer and a screw up in Peggy Sue Got Married, and he does some weird crap with his voice again, and it just I don't understand. But he's trying really hard to do some weird voice. But it was a decent movie, not focused on him. He's kind of a, I don't know, second or third character, maybe. He's important to the story, but he's not the main focus and he's not usually in it. So, yeah. He's like in it at certain parts and he comes back.
Okay.
Yeah. Peggy Sue is married to him, basically.
Gotcha. I figured that much. Yeah.
So he's important, but he's not always there. But it's mainly a story about her. And I forget who played her as well, because I was thinking she did a pretty good job, but she's somebody famous. I just can't remember who, so I will Google it. Oh, same one, Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I thought it was her, and I couldn't remember. She's even more of a looker in this, but she's a little younger, I think. Then I watched, this is the last one of Cage movies, The Boy in Blue.
Okay.
And I have a theory that you will like it. It just seemed like the type of movie you would like. I don't know specifically why, but it was a historic movie. And at the very beginning of it, it says that the sport of sculling was famous long before basketball, soccer, football were. And I'm like, sculling? What is sculling? Oh, it's rowing. It's like a single person rowboat.
Okay, yeah.
It takes place in the 1870s, I think it was. So basically he's Canadian and gets discovered as a good rower and recruited kind of thing and goes through that. He's a bit of a womanizer in this, but he starts off like screwing this chick real good. And then he sees another girl that he likes, even though that other girl's at the celebration for him. And he's like, no, I don't care about you anymore. I'm going to that one. And then the rest of the movie is him chasing that one. So he's a bit of a womanizer. And this time, though, no chest hair. He's clean shaven. No chest hair?
What?
Because he's an athlete.
Yeah. Got to have that smooth body, right?
Oh, yeah. It's real smooth. But he is freaking ripped. Like, he's pure muscle in this movie.
Well, yeah, if you're a rower, you're...
Yeah, he still looks skinny, and they do make fun of him saying he's skinny and stuff, but he's pretty freaking ripped in this movie. And not overly cagey. There's just a few parts that are a little bit cagey, like him being a womanizer near the beginning. He's a smuggler of alcohol. That's what he did for a job, was he like rode the alcohol to across the I guess
across the border, probably.
Yeah, I think the American border. No, it's still Canadian. Just somewhere else in Canada anyway, because he was Canadian. The cops were were British. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's basically it's him smuggling alcohol leads him to the job of rowing. But it's pretty decent. It felt like something you'd like, maybe just because of the historical. I don't know why. But it was a decent story.
I'm curious to see it now.
And maybe I'm totally off, but yeah. So I'm trying to go in order. I'm ahead of you now.
You are, yeah. Slow down a little bit, would you? Jeez.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna speed up actually. Because there's someone here that you've seen and I haven't. Oh, maybe just Raising Arizona. but you didn't rank that one.
I need to watch it again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the next one I have. I never did watch the best of times. You said it wasn't really worth it.
I don't think he's probably even maybe uncredited in that, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother then.
He was
Yeah, so Raising Arizona is next for me, and then
that's a Coen Brothers, right? So it's
yeah. And then Moonstruck after that, which I keep hearing is a pretty good movie.
That's what I hear too. Yeah,
I actually there's that TikTok guy I talked about that pulls tapes from his shelf and checks them out. He had a one where he briefly mentioned Nicolas Cage, and I said, like, I just commented out of the blue, what is the best Nicolas Cage movie though? And he replied back with Moonstruck. Actually, he first said something totally different. He said like Moonlighter. And I replied back with Moonstruck, and he replies back with Moonlighter, like just making fun of himself for being a typo. So, but he says Moonstruck is the best Nicolas Cage movie.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes, and I did hear Cher demanded he be in that movie. Like, he wasn't very famous at the time, and she demanded she work with him.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I remember that VHS being in our house.
Oh.
And I remember my mom watching it.
I only know of it because my wife has mentioned it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then also, watching that movie about Nicolas Cage movies. Or that YouTube video about summarizing all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason...
That's all I watched.
That's all you watched?
Well, I also watched some TV, but not a whole lot.
Okay.
I did want to mention The Problem with Jon Stewart is a TV show.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Last Week Tonight. It's really good.
I saw clips of him raking someone over the coals about gun laws or whatever it was.
Yeah,
so.
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
The one I just watched today was stocks, like the stock market in general and how corrupt it is.
Okay. Everything's corrupt.
But he explains that he tries to come up with a solution and talks to experts. They also highlight the Wall Street Bets GameStop thing that happened last year or the year before.
Meme stocks and whatever.
Yeah. Kind of neat.
Well, I got sidetracked. Instead of watching Nicolas Cage movies, I've been watching other movies. So it's my own problem. It's my own fault. I know.
I was trying to do like every other movie be a Nicolas Cage or more, and it ended up more.
I got into a mood where I was just like, I want to watch this kind of movie, and I just kind of went into that. And I could have brought Nicolas Cage into this, and I just didn't get to it. But I was going to skip ahead.
Was it Jackie Chan movies?
No.
Okay.
That would have been cool, though. I wanted to watch some old school action adventure movies.
Okay.
So what do you think of when you think action adventure? Classic. I think that's better. Classic action adventure.
Well, classic could mean classic for us as in like 80s, or classic could mean like 60s.
Okay, classic for us.
Okay. So you're talking like Last Action Hero, Die Hard, like those are action movies, but not so much adventure.
Let's put more on the adventure side than action side.
Which also makes it sound like it could be younger as well. Because usually if it's an action movie, it's just action.
The oldest movie that I watched was 84. No, 84?
Action adventure.
No, a little earlier than that.
Are you talking getting into fantasy then too? That almost makes me think of that. But
hold on a second.
I have no guesses. You should just spoil it already.
The oldest movie I watched was 1981. Sorry, 81.
Okay. You should give me one, and then I can start guessing other ones eventually.
Well, it's just going to give it away once I tell you the first one.
Okay. I can't think of action adventure.
It's already been mentioned once in this podcast.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. The Indiana Jones quadrilogy.
Okay.
I haven't seen Indiana Jones in many years. So I was like, I really want to watch the Indiana Jones movies. And I remember being pretty firm in my ranking of how much I liked certain ones over other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it used to be I liked Last Crusade, then Raiders of the Lost Ark, then Temple of Doom, then Crystal Skull. That was my order.
Like a big gap within Crystal Skull.
I remember the last time I watched Crystal Skull, I didn't hate it. I don't hate it like everyone else does in general.
I just didn't like the end. It was just like, really? This is where we're going with this? Alrighty then.
I mean, it's fine. I understand where they're going. Look at the rest of the movies. The rest of them are absolutely ridiculous in how Like Temple of Doom. Have you seen Temple of Doom? Like, it's nuts.
I honestly don't know if I've ever seen an Indiana Jones movie in one sitting, beginning to end.
Oh,
or if I only ever seen it on TV in bits and pieces. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know for sure.
Well, maybe you should actually go and watch them all because they're
gotta watch
really
Nicolas
good.
Cage movies.
Just sub one out, one in, one out, one in. You know, you're good.
I gotta watch my VHS tapes. Actually, I have 2 copies now of Raiders of the Lost Ark from VHS tapes I've recorded.
Perfect.
I don't think they have commercials though.
I can't. So I don't think I've ever watched the Indiana Jones movies in HD. I think everything I've seen has been. I think the last time I watched it was DVD, right? Not an HD TV. It was probably a projector TV. So I mean, it was better, but not as good as it could be. So it was my first time actually watching it in HD. And really good. My order has now changed, and it's become now in release order. So like my favorite movie is now Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think it's fantastic. The second one, surprisingly, Temple of Doom. It is a complete departure from the first movie. It starts out very annoying with the girl who's always screaming, and it's kind of annoying, but that turns often kind of like halfway through the movie, and she becomes toned down a little bit more. So that's fine. And actually legit had a jump scare, and I know that movie. I've seen it. But while part happened, and I actually like flinched. It scared me, and I wasn't ready for that. So I was like, okay, this movie still got it. If you can still do that to me, then we're okay. So, and it's good. It's way darker than I remember. I remember parts of it, especially being a kid. I remember being in 3rd grade when I saw that movie for the first time, and I remember having nightmares about. This probably isn't spoilers for you, but the guy gets his heart ripped out. Right? You know that part?
I don't remember. Remember any of it. Like Temple of Doom, I'm trying to remember what it is about it because I can't remember anything in the story either.
It's the cult one basically. So
it doesn't help me. I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Man,
like
okay.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember the Lost Ark. I remember the Ark coming out.
Yeah.
And then what's the third one?
Last Crusade.
So Last Crusade is the one with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
And the Ark or the Chalice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two I vaguely remember.
Okay.
Temple of Doom, I don't think I do.
That's a blind spot. Okay. It's such a turn from like the action adventure. It almost goes to almost like a horror thriller halfway through. It's a very strange shift, but I like it. It works. But yeah, part of my thing was I had a conversation with another dad a couple of weeks ago about, when is it appropriate to introduce some of these movies to our kids? Because he has an older daughter. She's trying to watch like the Harry Potter movies, and he's like, I'm not sure what age I can bring this in, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, what kind of stuff are you watching at this age? He's like, I was watching Indiana Jones and Star Wars, and I was just like, ooh, Indiana Jones, that would be good. But I remember in Raiders of the Lost Ark, like the guy's face melting off. Yeah. Like that's a very vivid memory for me. I don't think my kid's ready for that, but let me watch it again. That was one of my reasons of watching. Like, let's see how appropriate it is for kids. Yeah, definitely not ready for kids right now. Absolutely not. But still cool. I mean, watching it as an adult, it looks cheesy now, but I know as a kid in the kid's imagination, that is just going to look terrifying. So not ready to do that to my kid yet. I'm a bad dad sometimes, but not this time. I pre-screened it. So yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark, number 1, Temple of Doom, number 2. Last Crusade, which used to be my favorite, is now at number 3. Mostly because I remember that movie differently. I remember things happening or being said in certain ways, and I watched it again, it didn't happen that way. So I was almost like just,
Luke, I'm your father, and it's really, no, I'm your father.
I am your father, things like that. Yeah. Like I remember parts of Sean Connery yelling at Harrison or Indiana Jones, Indy, leave it, or whatever, like being so like forceful. And I remember that in my mind, that was a very, emotional moment of a father and son. And but then when I watched the movie, it's just Sean Connery going, Indy, come on. Like just kind of like, whatever. I'm just like, what happened? Like, I remember this being so pivotal, but it didn't happen.
Interesting.
So
that makes me wonder if it's a different edit.
I don't know. I don't
if there
think
are
so.
Other edits, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there are other edits. So,
and
then on to Crystal Skull. again, it gets a lot of hate. I don't think it's that bad. What makes it bad is all the CG. If it didn't have all the CG, it would be great. Regardless of what you think about like the whole alien thing, that is explained in the movie about like, you know, these, you know, they're talking about gods and stuff like that, and he specifically says it's an offhand comment, but it explains the whole movie. He says it depends who your god is. Which if you take that as the aliens are their god, and then if you go to like, you know, if you look at Temple of Doom, they're worshiping rocks. Like, how is that any different? Right? So it's just kind of a matter of perspective. If it wasn't for the CG, it'd be great. What really lets it down is like Shia LaBeouf swinging on vines with monkeys to catch up with motorcycles. Like, you're like, no
Logic
way.
flaws.
Like, I'll accept Indy surviving an atomic blast by going in a lead-lined fridge and getting blasted out of the zone. Sure, I will accept that over Shia LaBeouf swinging on vines to catch up with motorcycles. A little much. So, anyways, and then I decided to compare that with another one of my all-time favorite movies, The Mummy, with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
bringing in 2 Oscar winners with Ki Hung Kwai, whatever, short round. He won, then Brendan Fraser won an Oscar. I was just like, you know what? I really want to watch these guys again. So
you know what you need to watch next?
What's
Doom
that?
Patrol.
I do need to watch Doom Patrol. I do. I've heard good
Netflix.
things. I know.
It's fun. It's just fun. That's what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah. It is on my list that I need to watch.
I haven't watched the 3rd season, I think it is, or 4th. I don't remember. One of the 2. Whatever the latest season is, I haven't seen yet.
Yeah. So, anyways, The Mummy is a movie that I watched. I've watched The Mummy more than I've watched Indiana Jones, for sure. I love The Mummy.
I love The Mummy as well when it was out. When it was new. I don't remember anymore, but I remember loving it.
Yeah. I remember watching it, or throw back to VHS. I watched it on VHS. I had it on VHS. Watched it over and over and over. I memorized that movie. Watched it again. It's still very good. It's not as good as I remember, because I think I've gotten older now, but it's still very, very good. I wanted to do a direct comparison because I'd never seen Indiana Jones back to back and then move straight into The Mummy, which it's directly inspired by. Indiana Jones is still better than The Mummy. At least Raiders of the Lost Ark is better, but I think Mummy is a very close second. Then I moved on to The Mummy 2. Again, it's more they're just having fun at this point. So they just went balls to the wall with Mummy Returns. It's fun. It's not to be taken seriously. The CG in it is horrible, but that's part of the charm, I think. And I think I was watching like an interview with Brendan Fraser, and they're talking about like they're trying to act with what would have been Dwayne Johnson as the Scorpion King, but he's like half man, half scorpion at the end of that movie. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to act with this thing, but it's literally like a green dot on a stick that someone's running around with, and we're trying to be scared of this. I'm like, yeah, that'd be hard. So watch Mummy Returns, still good, not as good as The Mummy, but still good. And then 7 years later, The Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor comes out, which is the 3rd one in the series. This is the one I've only seen. I've only seen it once, and I watched it on an airplane on one of my trips back and forth from Africa. I didn't remember liking it very much because Rachel Weisz, who plays his wife, eventually his girlfriend, she did not return for the 3rd movie, and Maria Bello takes over for the 3rd as his wife. I really liked her, the original. Yes, she's definitely the big draw on that. I had a massive crush on her when I was a kid watching that movie. So,
ditto.
This one doesn't hold up. I don't think. I think they tried a little too hard to. I don't want to say they tried to bring all the callbacks to the old movies back in, but it just kind of felt like they're doing the same tropes just with different people. So Yeah, it doesn't hold up. Also, I don't know what's going on with Brendan Fraser's hair in this movie. It is so bad looking. So, anyways, I would say if you're going to watch the Mummy movies, watch Mummy and Mummy Returns. Just leave the Tomb Emperor or Dragon Emperor.
It's got Jet Li.
I know, and I was expecting so much more.
I didn't know it even existed.
Oh,
the Tomb of
really?
the Dragon Emperor. Yeah.
Okay.
I knew about Mummy, Mummy 2, and Scorpion King.
Okay.
The movie Scorpion King.
Scorpion King, yeah. Which is, I didn't watch that because the last time I watched it, I remember liking it when I was younger, and then I watched it again. I want to say like maybe 5 or 8 years ago, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I'm like, this is terrible, and I'd never want to watch this movie again. So I didn't go back this time because I'm just going to trust my old instincts of like, it's bad. So.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't go that far. But yeah, watch those movies. They're fun. And Derek, you need to watch Indiana Jones. Absolutely. You need to watch Indiana Jones. Full through. You have to.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
But they're so easy. It's such an easy watch.
Add all these things.
They'd probably be fine. They'd probably be fine with your son is probably old enough to watch them now.
You think so?
I think so. If he's okay, like
he doesn't like gore stuff at all. Like not even a little bit. Even like we were talking about Frankenweenie the other day. My daughter wanted to watch. Have you ever seen Frankenweenie?
No, I haven't.
It's like a dog that dies.
I know what it
and
is.
He gets resurrected. Yeah. But he looks a little weird. He looks like a Frankenstein monster type thing with weird skin and stuff. And my son didn't want her to watch it because he was afraid of being scared of it.
Okay. Well, then in that case, maybe not. But if I was his age, I would have been watching them already. So I think they're okay. My youngest or my oldest is 6. I think he's a little young yet. But I think if he was hitting 8 or 9, I'd probably watch it with him.
Yeah, I don't even know what he could watch right now for those kinds of movies. I'm debating as well, but I should just watch it and see for myself because it's been a while since I saw them.
Yeah, definitely not Temple of Doom if he's worried about gore because like literally rips a guy's heart out.
Mm-hmm. The melting, I think he'd still be bothered by, but
yeah, it's pretty quick though, and it's definitely you can tell it's just wax melting.
He doesn't know wax melting.
Yeah, I know. I was really trying to convince my wife to let me show Jurassic Park to my son, but that got vetoed very quickly. And she's probably right. He's probably too young to see that. I just want I want him to get to the age where I can start watching cool movies with him, you know?
Yeah, so. I know. So you got to start with Home Alone and go from there. And even Home Alone, we didn't let my son watch until this past Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
The first Home Alone.
Well, you didn't even let him. You just watched it.
Yeah, we didn't even let him. He watched it at my cousin's house. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I played 2 games this month.
Did you?
I can remember 2 new games I've never played before. I started playing Deathloop. Okay. Yeah. I played about an hour of that. It was pretty fun, but I don't get what the loop or what's going on yet, and you're not supposed to yet. But I don't know how far you're supposed to push it because it's kind of like a roguelite game where you have to get things and live and return back to the main timeline or something in order to keep those things so that you have guns for the next round. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. I've only done 1 loop so far. I think I died, but you get 2 lives or 3 lives total. If you die again within those, if you live one of them, then the loop resets and you start over. Okay. So I died once and then I finished some stuff off, gathered some things and went back to the base. So I don't know. It seems fun, but yeah, I heard it's one of those games you gotta put some time into and figure out, who's going to be where when and how to exploit that. And that's what I don't enjoy. I don't want to have to repeat over and over again. That's all that game is. So I went about it stealthily. Then I accidentally triggered something, which obviously mean you to, and I hate feeling like stuff like that happens. I hate feeling like I had no control over it. Mm-hmm. Like you go into your own apartment and you check your email And when you check your email or messenger, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I can see that you saw that message. We know where you are now. We're coming for you. It's like, come on. That was unavoidable and stupid and unrealistic. It's not going to. Anyway. I also played Raw Data in VR.
I saw you
with
playing
Briz.
That. Oh, okay.
Yes, with Briz of Polykill fame. He messaged on... Well, someone was messaging on the Polykill Discord in the deals or like... I forget what it's called, but there's a deals channel anyway where you just share what's on sale where and stuff. And they were talking about... It was Marketplace and deals. And someone was talking about sales on VR games. And Briz is like, well, if anybody picks up this game or this game, let me know and we'll play. So I told him I already have Raw Data. We should play it. I've played it multiplayer once or twice. So we played that for a couple hours and he's like, well, I'm getting sore back from he was doing bow and arrow and his arms and his back were getting sore from doing bow and arrow movements the whole night. So I'm like, yeah, my legs are getting kind of tired too from like ducking and stuff. So we've called it quits after I don't know how many hours. It was long enough that my VR battery was almost dead. Like it was on one light left out of 4. So yeah, that was fun though.
I have that on PSVR.
We should play again, but okay. I don't know if it's cross-platform.
You play again, but
either.
get some time.
No, he said play again, but I'll be gone for the next month for work. Yeah. So he's got I think he's got original Vive VR. So
okay.
Yeah. I don't know how many players it supports either, but we were doing 2 players just fine. That is all I played that I remember. I also have a list of some things that I bought that I've talked about.
Can I talk about some games that I played while we're on?
Yeah, you got played some games?
Just a couple.
You just sold games.
I did sell games. Yeah, I did a lot of that, but I also played just a few games. Like I said, I've been modding all my systems, so I've actually got my SNES Classic modded, my PS1 Classic modded, that kind of thing. So I've noticed with my SNES Classic, I was like, I really want to play other games on here as well. I was like, and it's capable of doing more than just SNES games. So I went in even further. So my problem before with my SNES Classic was I had modded it with an older mod program, and then when I went back in with my newer program, it was just like your kernel's out of date, and it wouldn't let me do anything basically.
Oh.
So it wanted me to back up with my original kernel, which I have no idea where that is. I copied it on somewhere and it's gone. And I've changed computers and who knows what hard drive it was on. And anyways, I'm like, well, I guess I'm just screwed. But I managed to figure it out. I found an older build of the program. I went in, plugged into my Classic, and I basically demodded it with the old program.
Okay.
And it managed to put on flash out an original kernel somehow back onto it by removing. And then I went into the new program and then remodded it. And basically what it does is it stores the kernel on the system itself rather than you having to take a copy off on your computer and save it somewhere. It just like creates a separate directory and saves it so it knows where it is and you never lose it, which saves me from myself basically.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was able to do that, and then within that program, you're able to add on secondary emulators. So games that the SNES Classic doesn't support, like the one I wanted to play was like Super Noah's Ark 3D, which is like a Wisdom Tree game. If you just plug that on, it doesn't work. Or Earthworm Jim, I think 1 and 2, they're not supported. You can go in and tell it, okay, add this emulator, and then when you load this game, load it through this emulator rather than through the regular emulator. So I was able to get that working, and then I was also able to get in Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games all working on my SNES Classic. So I've quickly run out of space. I got to figure out how to do like external USB storage on it as well. But I'm also considering of just moving my Game Boy Color and Game Boy games over to my NES Classic because they have 2 buttons. I don't need 4 like my SNES does.
Yeah.
Not that they take up kilobytes. They're not big, but in a couple of highlights that I played, I did play and beat the Super Mario Land,
yeah.
The first Game Boy game, Mario game on Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I played and beat that. In one night, it didn't take long. It took like half an hour, maybe 40 minutes.
Okay.
Didn't take long. I save stated at, I finished the level in save state, save, move on. So
yeah, I think it's fine.
That's fine. But yeah, crazy. There's like actual shooter levels. The final boss is a shooter level. You're in like a Harrier jet and you're shooting. It's it's wild. But fun. So I got to go back and play the next one.
I gotta mod my systems as well.
Bring them over. It's honestly, dude, it's so easy. You literally plug it in, you open the program and say mod, and it's like done. What games do you want to put on? These ones, done. Okay, go. Like it adds all the artwork for you. It does everything. So
do that while I fix your arcade machine.
Yeah, there you go. Bring your PlayStation Classic too.
Yeah.
Honestly, the PlayStation Classic is so easy. It's very and totally worth it. Absolutely, totally worth it. So the thing that takes the longest is downloading all the games, because I literally have 50 tabs open, and I can really only download 2 or 3 at a time before my downloads are just like, what are you doing to me? So then it just freezes up my whole computer. So, but I've been going through and checking all the systems I want to do. So now I'm going through the 3DS and Wii U shop have just closed down as of the 27th. So I've been going through all the DS and 3DS games, ROMs online to see what I want. And I've been downloading those as I go, just to see what I'm interested in getting. So I'm getting all the highlights. And I've ordered an R4 card for the DS.
I have one. I could have just hooked you up with.
I may need another one. We'll see.
Okay.
It depends, because Nintendo puts out their updates which block certain firmware, so you have to update the firmware on the card.
On a regular DS, you shouldn't have to worry about that anymore.
I've the one that I have had for years. I put it into the DS and it doesn't recognize it. So
it's a DS or a DS Lite?
DS Lite.
Huh.
So
weird.
There's an issue somewhere. Although I have downloaded some files, so I need to try putting that on the old R4 and see if I can get it running.
The hardest part is always finding what firmware goes with your R4, because there are a lot of knockoff R4s. And
I bought a knockoff R4 because all the sources online saying, yeah, it's a knockoff, but it works just as fine. You just have to put these files on.
The only problem with having a knockoff is finding the right firmware for it.
Yeah.
I bought actually 10 R4 cards off CJR, and he was like, I don't know what firmware goes on these. I have no idea. I've had them so long, I can't figure them all out. So he just sold off all the ones he didn't need. And I think that one of them was already working, and the rest I had to just screw with firmwares until I found the right ones.
Okay.
And I just found a firmware on the internet, put it on a memory card, tried it in all the cards. Whatever one it worked on, that's the firmware for that one.
That's the one, yeah.
Then grab the next one and go on to the next firmware, try it on the other cards. And some of them had a hint of what website you'd go on the front sticker of it, or some of them you can look up websites that say how to identify which R4 it is. Sometimes the card is bulging in one spot, or has tape here, or this logo versus that logo, and all this crap. So you can kind of get an idea, but for the most part, a lot of them, it's hard to figure out what the right firmware is. So it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I got my work cut out for me, but we'll see how it goes. There is no easy way to get 3DS. You can't get an R4 for a 3DS to play 3DS games.
They have them, but they don't work that simple.
No.
As far as I understand. I have a couple R4 for 3DS.
Yes,
and
but
none of them work because the firmware is too new now.
Yeah, but also you can't, if you have an R4 for 3DS, that's not to play 3DS games, it's to play DS games on a 3DS. You can't put 3DS ROMs on there. I never checked
that.
Yeah.
I thought you originally could, but they patched that and fixed it on the OS.
Potentially. Everything I've seen online is just no, you have to, if you want to play 3DS games on a 3DS ROMs, you have to mod the system and then go in this way and basically have a file and inject it. Yeah. So I have some work to do that, but I have to.
I have one that's modded. I had Cubic Ninja that I bought, and my friend used it to mod mine. Then he thought I was paying him by giving him the game, so he never paid me for the game or gave it back.
Okay.
And mine got modded out of that, But then my son accidentally installed a firmware update on it, and that broke the mod. And I haven't gone to get the latest software to try and fix that. As far as I understand, there's only one file, according to my friend. Grab one file and put it on that memory card, that SD card, and that should fix the mod. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
You can mod everything just through the system itself now. You don't need an exploit from a game. You can just go into the SD card and put files on your SD card and then run.
Really?
Go into the web browser and basically it like runs an exploit and then you get it that way. So anyways, that's the plan. But I'm just waiting for things to kind of like finalize out because everything's kind of in limbo right now with the store shutting down. I'm waiting for final firmware updates and everything to be clear, and then I'll work out that. So
yeah.
But what else did I play? Oh, RE4 Resident Evil 4 remake demo. The chainsaw demo came out, so I played that. I've never played the original Resident Evil 4. I've played it. That's not true. I've played the first bit of it where you're going into the village, and I've done the village bit, and then I got too scared and I quit when I had it on GameCube. So I bought it again on PS4. Haven't played it. Now the remake's coming out for PS4 and PS5. I was like, I'll try it out. So I had some friends over and we tried it out. And it's good. One friend liked it. One friend did not like it because you couldn't dodge roll. And I'm like, dude, this is Resident Evil. What dodge roll are you talking about?
Can't even dodge, let alone dodge roll.
But you can't. My main complaint with Resident Evil, any Resident Evil game, is you have to stop to aim and shoot. You can't move and shoot. Resident Evil 4 Remake fixes that. You can still move, so you can still back up while stuff's coming at you. So
yeah, it's not my kind of game.
It changes it. I'm more interested in Resident Evil now than I ever have been. So, but I do want to get the first one. I have a weird thing where I kind of want to play games in order. So I want to play 1, 2, and 3.
It's like everybody pretty much.
But everyone's telling you like nothing's really connected in Resident Evil, so it's just kind of like jump in whenever.
But still, I think Top Spot and Q Dog are both like that. Still,
but we're just weird. We're just weird.
I know you're weird. It's fine. It's fine. You're allowed to be weird.
Good. I'm glad someone tells me.
Waste of time, but you can be weird.
So. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest of my time has been literally expo stuff, and watching movies as I can. But I do want to play more games, and I've been very tempted to break out my VR again. So I've been having an urge to play some
the other VR.
I was getting in there. Yeah. So I have my PSVR that I've been playing. I was playing. I haven't played in a while, but I want to get back into playing because I have a bunch of games. And then because I have, so many games in PlayStation VR, why not add a PC VR to that? Because, I need more VR that I'm not playing. So I bought a PC VR headset. I think it's the Samsung. I don't even know what it's called. Samsung HMD
Odyssey Plus.
That's the one.
Which is the same one Kevin has, I believe.
Yes, but this one also has the wands, the hand controllers, which I don't think Kevin has.
Yeah.
He does have it because he never used them. He only
really?
He only used keyboard and mouse when we were playing with him. So.
Yeah. How do you know that? You mean with the
when we were playing Bridge
Star Trek
Crew
game?
Yeah.
I just don't think it tracked fingers.
No, he wouldn't move his hands weren't moving. His hands were always down because he said I'm playing with keyboard and mouse or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So
but yeah, he did have the controllers. I'm pretty sure because I remember him talking about when he bought the kit, he found a really good deal on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I don't remember. So, anyways, I bought that for he originally gave it to me to sell at the expo the night before the expo because I posted on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I'm going to this. Come and visit. So his wife, who's my wife's best friend, noticed it and then messaged my wife and said, hey. My husband has this VR set he's been trying to sell for over a year. Could Josh take it to the expo and try to sell it?
Yeah.
So I had it. I literally forgot it in the basement because it was the night before, and I had a secret thing. I was like, I'm probably just gonna buy this because I want it for myself. So kill two birds with one stone. Leave it at home, and I get to buy it at the same time. So it all worked out in the end. So I messaged him and I'm just like, hey, I'll just buy this from you. So he gave me a really good price. So I just bought it. I haven't plugged it in yet to play it yet, but so he originally had it, but then he was trying to do like racing sims and it just wasn't quite clear enough for his eyes. He wanted to look down at see like speedometer and tachometer and stuff like that. So
okay.
He needs to be able to read those displays. So this doesn't quite have quite what he wanted. So he upgraded.
Gotcha.
So, but it just has the inside out tracking. It doesn't have the sensors outside. So I have to. Yep. That's the one downs. I mean, it's a good and a bad thing at the same time.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So
I like the sensors. I like them. Yeah.
But one day I'll get around, and I've added some games to my wish list. So we'll see what happens. What goes on sale. I might even. So now I went from having one PSVR. Now I have 3 VR headsets in my house.
Yeah.
I have 2 PlayStation VRs and a PC VR.
Like people say, get on my level. I'm pretty sure I have 6 in the house right now.
Jeez. More VR sets than people.
Yes, that's true. Still less than the number of Switches I have, I guess.
Jeez.
That's the number of people.
Oh, so I might even give my PC VR to one of my friends in hopes that maybe we can actually get some Bridge Crew going again, because I had a lot of fun with that. But we need more people, and it's hard to get people to play that. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's taken down offline or something. It's Ubisoft.
Still up on Steam.
Okay.
So
yeah, but does it mean it works, or do they just sell it still?
I don't know. It's still up there, so I'm assuming it works.
Yeah.
So speaking of Switches, Tears of the Kingdom. Did you see Tears of the Kingdom? Zelda get teased. They
saw
released
a video.
They released 10 minutes of footage of the game, which looks awesome. It's basically Zelda nuts and bolts.
Okay, so that's what I saw. Was someone sent a video of that, and they put Gmod across it for Gary's mod for Half-Life, which I freaking love Gary's mod.
So you might like this because it's literally like I want to put this and stick it to this and put that on there, and you can make your own.
Pay 20 hours before I get to that stuff.
Oh, probably not. That's probably the Zelda's probably good about like just giving you all the tools.
You just muted yourself.
Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, I touched my cord and it got sensitive. No, Zelda's good about just giving you like you have to play all the temples in this area first.
Yeah.
But that's every temple is just giving you it's just teaching you this is this tool, this is this tool, this is this tool. Go have fun.
Yeah. I've played Breath of the Wild on 2 different consoles and played like 12 hours on each or something like that, or 15 hours on each, and repeated the same part of the game because I've moved from Wii U to Switch. So I know I just hate it. I don't want to go through that. I want everything right away. I want sandbox mode. Give me sandbox mode.
That's not Nintendo.
I'll just play Gary's mod then.
That's fair.
I can write scripts in Gary's mod too.
It does look really cool though. I am very interested in it. And it allows, so everyone's complaint is the weapon durability. That's still in this game, unfortunately, but they are adding a thing where basically you'd be like, oh, this weapon is damaged. Let me combine it with this weapon, and you make a new weapon and it's back to full durability basically. So the one video had he had like a spear and a stick and a spear, and he put them together, and they had like this really long spear, so you could attack things from really far away. So that's kind of cool. Or you can combine like monster parts, which are in the original game, which were only used for like potions, and they're kind of useless outside of that in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
So if you get a monster eye and attach it to your arrow, then it becomes a homing arrow, and you can just shoot at anything, and it tracks it down. And, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of possibilities. They're just kind of giving you a few options. So
I just wish the first game would fix their problem still.
The first game is good. I know you don't like it, but I like it.
I like parts of it, and I had fun in it. I'm never going to beat that game ever. Yeah. It's just never going to happen.
That's fine. I'm hopefully going to get it. My plan is to get it day one if I can. I don't buy a lot of day one games, but that will be a day one purchase, hopefully. If not, very close to day one. But the real kicker is they announced a Zelda Switch OLED at the same time. Now, I've been kind of looking at maybe getting an OLED, and maybe I'm thinking about I should get that one. But it's $470 plus tax. So
yeah,
it's only $10 more than a regular OLED, $20 more than a regular OLED. So tempting. I'm wavering. I would like to get another Switch eventually because my son has taken over my other one. So I can't ever bring the other one. I can't ever bring it down here and play it because he always has his game suspended. He doesn't shut the game down. He just puts it in sleep mode. I'm like, I gotta. So I gotta figure out what I do if I want to spend the money on that or just get a regular OLED at some point or just wait for the new Nintendo Switch to come out, which is going to come out eventually, and just deal with my Switch as is because I'm not going to play it handheld, really. I'm just going to play it on the TV.
Yeah, see,
I need an OLED?
I play a decent amount of handheld, but I'd prefer to play on the TV, but usually when we're playing with the kids, we're each handheld.
Yeah.
Depending on what game. But.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. It would be fun to have an extra Switch around to play multiplayer, like if, my son and I are in a car ride. Here's my next question. And I should just look this up, but I don't really know. Switch, you can do local multiplayer without internet, right? Like, can you just ad hoc each other basically?
Every game is different.
Okay. So say Mario Kart.
The only game I can think of that you can do that in is Mario Kart.
Okay. I could just be
I
local.
don't know of any other for sure.
Okay.
Maybe the first Mario party game for Switch did that as well.
Okay.
But I don't think there's many games that support it. They would rather you do online because then you need a subscription. You need 2 subscriptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the one thing I want is I just want to be able to play anywhere with multiple people. Just here, like the 3DS, basically. Here, we're all sitting at the cottage. Let's all hook up and
Nintendo doesn't want you to do that, do they?
No, apparently not.
No, they want subscription money. Yeah.
So, what else? Oh, I bought Rare Replay again, digitally this time.
Yes, because it includes
GoldenEye 007 HD, which the physical people who own Rare Replay physically do not get.
Yeah.
Which is BS.
Yes, I own it physically for Xbox One.
Yeah, so do I. And then they had it digitally for I think it was $7 or $8. So I'm like, okay, fine. I guess that's a decent enough price to pay. Basically, I'm just paying that for GoldenEye. But it'll be worth it.
I do want to play GoldenEye, but it's not worth it. I don't want to get online as well, right?
Yeah, true.
I don't have Xbox Online, so Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah.
Well, I need to quickly get through my list, and then I need to go to bed because I'm still training customers tomorrow.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
I forgot this was tonight, so I didn't plan that far ahead to remember that I had customers to train. I was thinking tomorrow was my last day of training, and then after that, we would be doing the recording because I forgot we switched the date.
We switched it. You got screwed. Okay. All right. We'll finish up, and then we'll call it a night. I think I'm done anyway. So.
All right. Well, I bought a Toshiba 13-inch CRT TV VCR combo.
You piece of shit. I'm calling you hypocritical piece of shit. I've been saying for years, get a little CRT.
Oh yeah, no, I wanted to.
And all of a sudden you're like, no.
Couldn't find one.
No. You said I don't have space. I don't have space. And now not only do you not have one, you know where you have two. You have two.
Well, I haven't got to that yet. So you know where the one went? The first one? Right where that arcade machine used to sit, right here on the table. So that's where the first one went. And I'm like, all right, we're good. I'm happy. And then one popped up on a local free site for free.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, well, I don't really need another one, but I kind of want one. That's all right. I won't worry about it. Someone else already claimed it. They said, I'll take it. I'm like, good. They'll take it. Never mind. So then I noticed an ad for a bunch of free VHS tapes. And that happened to be the same lady that was giving away this small Electro Home TV. So I messaged her for the VHS tapes. And she's like, okay, I'll send you a picture, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't need a picture. I'm just taking the tapes for free. Just tell me where to get them and when, and I'll come get them. So she says, I also have this TV. Do you want it? I'm like, yes. So that's how I got the second one.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I'll just put it all on my porch. Come get it when you're ready to get it. So I went and got it right away because I didn't want to lose out on that because someone else already claimed the TV, but she didn't message them or see their message to get it. So I went and got like 40 tapes. Turns out that also came with like a I don't know, 30 some cassette, like audio cassettes as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So my wife was in heaven going through those. So I still need to sort them and figure out which ones to keep, which ones to get rid of. And then I also bought like 35 tapes. Oh, the Toshiba TV was $15. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go get that. That was in Cambridge. I think I told you about that already when we were talking in person. And then when I got there, he had a box that was really packed full of VHS tapes. And he said, do you want these too? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I felt bad just taking them for free. So I said, do you want money for those too? And he's like, whatever you think. I'm like, all right. So I gave him $10 for like 30 some tapes or 40 tapes. And I've been working my way through those as well. But some of those were actually moldy. So I've had to clean them out. Yeah. So $10 for like 30 or 40 tapes there. And then the one with the Electro Home TV, the other 13-inch TV VCR combo, which by the way has 12 volt input, so I can use it at a camping trailer.
Oh, nice.
That one came with all those other tapes. And that TV, my son said he wanted in his room. We haven't let him have a TV in his room yet. His cousin has had one his whole life. And he's just always like bragging about jealous, how he watches TV to go to sleep. I'm like, that's not a good thing. No. So anyway, he's got the TV in his room, but it's only for VHS. We're not hooking anything else up to it. And he's got to ask us to use it. So, but it came with a remote and everything. Like, great.
That was the dream.
Yeah. So he's got that on his dresser now. 13-inch TV with a VCR. But he's happy with watching a Pokemon VHS tape. I've picked up a couple other bundles of tapes here and there that I haven't mentioned before now, but usually free, sometimes like $5 or $10 for 20, 30 tapes. I also sold 144 tapes that I finished with.
Oh, finally.
I found a guy who says he will take all of my tapes as I finish with them.
Okay.
He's coming from Toronto. He runs a YouTube channel where he just puts up recordings of VHS tapes, just as is with original commercials.
Okay.
And he said he'll take all my tapes whenever I'm done with them. So I've got 144. He came from Toronto to pick up, bought them for $100.
Yeah.
And I've
that's
got
good.
another.
That's good right there. Yeah.
Exactly. So now I've got another 72, 72, 72, and 52 ready to go. And he said, can you wait a few weeks? He said that last week. I'm like, yeah, sure. No problem. Fine. I mean, I don't want to hold on to them. My wife doesn't want me to hold on to them, but either way, if I know I can sell them to him, I'm not going to piss him off with giving them to someone else or doing something else with them. So,
and you're getting money for them, so
exactly, yeah. So I might as well take advantage of that and not ruin that relationship because I want him to continue buying from me once I make it through the ones that I'm interested in more so and more into the ones that are more, I don't know, generic. The ones that came from that guy that had over 500 tapes, they're all just numbered. And there's nothing else on them but a number. So a lot of them have no commercials. Some of them do. The guy messaged me afterward and asked me about those tapes and said, oh, that's cool that this guy wanted to watch these old black and white Westerns and with no commercials. So he seems interested in it. It's not like he's going to just turn them away. But then I also mixed in some of the Chinese tapes as well, randomly in the boxes too, as I went through those. But a lot of cool stuff. There's tons of stuff to go through.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have time to go through these tapes.
Yeah. Jeez, you got your work cut out for you, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've got like a huge freaking list, and a lot of them I've gone through. What is it? Less than half of them now I've gone through and watched or skimmed through each one and wrote down timestamps of when shows start and whether there's commercials, or when movies start and whether there's commercials. Oh yeah, I also picked up 22 tapes from a coworker of mine. I was talking about VHS tapes and recording commercials, and she's like, "Oh, I've got a bunch of tapes at home. Let me go to my parents' place and pick them up. They haven't used them in years. They don't even have a VCR, so you can just have them." So
perfect.
Yeah, and those ones had some cool local stuff on them too. I got like an ad from King Carden, a restaurant in King Carden, and pretty cool.
Cool to get local stuff like that too.
Yeah, I've got one. Actually, I totally forget where it is, if I already recorded it or not. And it was the tearing down of the bridge on Fountain Street.
Fountain Street?
Yeah. They said they were destroying and rebuilding the bridge is what the label of the tape says. But I forget if I recorded it now or not. I don't think I did yet. Yeah.
That'd be good for like a local Facebook group or something.
Yeah, and there's a ton of 9/11 shows.
Oh yeah.
Looking into 9/11 on these tapes. The guy who recorded them must have been a conspiracy theorist.
The conspiracy. Yeah.
And then I also did ship that tape to the UK. It just arrived.
Finally, yeah.
Just arrived yesterday. And the guy messaged me thanking me and says he'll give it off. The guy in the band says he'll give it off to the music director guy that the tape is about.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
It's come full circle.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I just paid for it. It was I went to do the shipping and it was like regular $58 if you do the tracking and 10-day shipping. And because we have the free Canada Post small business account, it dropped it down to like $32. I'm like,
okay.
I'm just going to pay for it. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. Go for it.
I don't even want to deal with trying to get money out of people. So I'll just pay for it and be done with it and feel like I did something good, right?
Yeah. Put some good karma out and hopefully get some back. And
Yeah.
Good.
That's all I've got.
I think that's a show. We're 3.5 hours, so at least we give Bill and Joe something to listen to. You know, we got them on the show, but they still can listen to the show after. You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
Give them an extra show's worth of content after they leave.
So. Well, and this episode's going to come out on April 1st.
It's true. So, fools on them. Well, maybe I should make this longer again. I should make this another 5-hour episode.
April 1st also happens to be National Play Outside Day, National Handmade Day, National Love Our Children Day, National Sourdough Bread Day.
Sauerkraut dough bear.
Sourdough Bread Day, National 1 Cent Day, and April Fool's Day, of course.
Of course.
Yes. So enjoy those things.
Enjoy. Well, thank you everyone for listening to another episode of Now Special. You can check out our friends at STC Pod and AC Decepticon, and they have their own podcast called STC Pod. On any podcast services, go have a watch or listen. And Joe's got a YouTube channel, AC Decepticon. No, it's not AC Decepticon anymore. It's Video Games and Collectibles.
I don't remember.
On YouTube.
Something like that.
I should have asked them what it was before. I should be looking this up too. And then Bill's got his STC on YouTube. Midnight is Flashing on YouTube. They do VHS stuff. So go check those out. That's going to do it. We'll see you all. What's that? In May. Yeah, that's right. It's late now. I forget what months are.
It is almost 1 a.m. It's 4 minutes or whatever. 6 minutes to 1 a.m.
6 minutes to 1, yeah.
I can't math. It's late.
See, you can't remember months and I can't.
I spent all day, the last 3 days training customers, last 2 days so far training customers. It's been time. Interesting time. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye.